I'll get you out of here.
Smoke hands over Asera. The situation's reaching a breaking point. Time to bring in the experts. Team Rainbow has touched down in Asera. New ground? Not sure where to start? Search containers. Grab high-value loot.
I hear when I can and stop threats when I must.
Take down anyone in your way. Heavy fire, raise your shield, and hold the line. Don't forget your tactical gear. The gripple gun.
Enemy here!
Taking fire? Pull out the Hive-Tac pistol. Patch yourself up. Keep your squad in the fight.
Call if you need a hand.
Outnumbered? Drop the jammer.
말보다는 행동이지.
Go dark. Strike first.
I've seen real horror.
Looks like they were waiting for us. No pressure. Trust your aim. Learn the map. Stay with your squad. Team Rainbow brings tactics built for close calls in Delta Force. That means sharper plays, smarter fights, and operator-on-operator mind games. Alright, it's go time. Extract safely, and everything you learn comes with you. New operation, new look. During the event, Noxus Vigil Bundle, Suniva's Montaigne Bundle, and Stinger Stock Bundle. Pick any two of the 3 operator bundles for free. More collab rewards awaiting. Open an Alpha pack and try your luck. In Asera, the right weapon can turn the tide. Black Eyes, one of Rainbow Six Siege's most iconic weapon appearances, gets a new Delta Force take. Complete event missions and choose one of 2 Black Eyes collab bundles for free. Join the event to claim the MP5 submachine gun Black Eyes, plus more rewards. Wait, what's this? Team Rainbow left something behind in Asera? A collectible drone you can deploy. Deploy it and see what you can uncover. July 10th to July 23rd, play to earn the K437 assault rifle Domineering. Looks like we're fully loaded for this operation. That's the full rundown on the Delta Force Rainbow Six Siege collaboration. Remember the rules: sharp aim, map knowledge, and teamwork. The mission: breach in, extract out.
Telemetry normal. Do not intervene. Telemetry normal. Do not intervene.
Target in the vicinity.
Find him. I'll monitor your vitals. Watch out for radiation spikes.
Copy. Moving out. N2. N2.
Green burns the skin. Yellow brings leukemia. Purple causes mutations. No! You said 137 is color. Stop scaring yourself!
Focus up.
Silent feet.
Your silence against the polygraph only proves your connection to the recent string of malfunctions.
If I told you the root cause of the malfunctions was Hudson's impatience, would you believe me? System errors, core boiling. These are the consequences of the main reactor overloading.
I
Is this
suggest you
continuous?
abandon any thoughts of shutting down the reactor. We're on a strict timetable. Next question. The signal you transmitted. Who was the recipient? H42. You're the glitch I've been hunting.
Go.
Playing the rear guard. That's not really our style. Your reflexes are slower than they used to be. Are emotions eating up your processing power?
You talk too much.
This isn't the right way.
I didn't send that signal to GTI just to escape.
You lied to us.
Sometimes lies are necessary to protect what matters. I have to initiate an emergency scram. I won't let a nuclear meltdown destroy Asara. The path ahead goes through a high radiation zone. You have no obligation to risk your life. We part ways here. Thank you.
And to the Vlinder.
H-42, you blocked Skynet, but you cannot erase your past. I am your past. You will only be beaten down.
Abort mission. Withdraw immediately.
Copy that. Regroup with Nox. Extract. Take a hot shower. No, wait! A scram at this power output. The residual heat won't dissipate. It could lead to a core meltdown. So what do? Intervene! No!
Telemetry normal.
Stop the explosion.
Do not intervene. Telemetry
Face the
normal.
radiation.
Do not intervene.
Don't be an idiot. You can't do this. You couldn't do it back then.
Fall back now.
What about you? Can you handle him?
He's nothing but a past version of me. He's nothing but a past version of me.
Just fall back. Don't worry about him. He's tough. Enough to survive a nuclear blast.
N2, your vitals show you're in the radiation zone.
I'm a walking reactor at this point.
H-1000, 2 hostiles in the control room.
Ugly variables.
Don't press it! If you shut down the reactor, the uncontrolled power surge could cause it to blow. But if I manually cool the core while you press it and create an asphyxiating environment...
That mitigates risk. But how do we do that?
Forgot to introduce myself. Codename, N2.
It could explode. Don't try to play hero.
No, I'm just trash. Maybe today, trash can finally be put to use. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Nothing much. Just fought some internal demons. And stopped a nuclear explosion while I was at it.
Nice work.
Telemetry normal. Do not intervene.
Nuclear power is poison, Nasir. You destroyed Asara's chance to be reborn. No, no. Nuclear power is the cure.
This court finds that the AI holds no legal responsibility.
But the data... This doesn't add up.
Just do it, the AI.
Priority. Protect company assets. Valve closed.
Destroyed our home!
That dream again.
Gabriel Mercier, codename N2, role engineer. As a former nuclear facility engineer, N2 was removed from his position following a major incident that escalated into legal proceedings. He later returned to military service and was reassigned to Arctic deployment under CBR and related units. With the originally designated technical specialist unable to fulfill operational requirements, and following assessment review, N2 has been approved as a replacement operator for the subsequent operation.
Stun out. Throwing stun. Stun hit. Freeze right there. It's getting cold.
N2 is equipped with a modified grenade launcher, capable of firing up to 6 LN2 grenades. Upon impact, each round detonates and releases a burst of cryogenic gas, dealing area damage and significantly impairing enemy mobility. Sustained hits can fully immobilize targets through extreme low temperature exposure.
Cold. I can go colder.
Got the Mandelbrick. Find and stop them. Mandelbrick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first Mandelbrick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, I'm not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Much damage, and there it is. It's the second week of the Delta Force Rise series here for EMEA. Welcome everyone to day 2 here in EMEA. I'm Toby, joined by Vivid. And Vivid, yesterday was an incredible day, a day that ended, I think, earlier than most people would have assumed, with Alliance getting the double Mandelbrick win in round 5. How do you like yesterday as a whole, man?
I mean, yeah, yesterday was awesome. We saw Alliance fly all the way up that group standing leaderboard. We saw FLC do the same. Even Mandelbrick Addiction was one of those teams kind of placed themselves so high up on the leaderboard that their placements on that group standings leaderboard changed dramatically. But I'm excited for today, Toby, because we're actually going to be seeing our first place team on those group standings leaderboard kind of rejoin the action here today. Team Gotaga, so I'm excited to see them again.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great time seeing what's going to happen today. For those of you guys who, for whatever reason, missed yesterday's broadcast, first of all, shame on you. Secondly, we got a little recap ready to show you exactly how it all went down.
Come in, I imagine that the utility is going to start to come in as well. But the defensive utility is actually holding FLC currently at bay. But Kobe goes ahead and jumps in. He's trying to go ahead and find the angle. That's going to be one knock found for the side of FLC. And only one member left remaining, but not for long. Team Alliance go ahead and secure our first Mandelbrick. Scooby, he's trying to go ahead and jump into the mix. He's trying to go ahead and jump into the smoke to make something happen. He finds the shots from the smoke. That was going to be the last point of defense for the Team Alliance. But he's forced to go ahead and get off of the steal. He's forced to go ahead and take out Grind. And in doing so, Team Alliance are netted the Mandelbrick. One of the return frags onto Buldo. So now the team that is in control of the Mandelbrick, they only have 2 members left remaining. You can see for the likes of one of them, they've jumped onto the coding station. This is an all-in approach from the likes of NBA. 5 seconds remaining. All gold armor. Utility is raining in. A couple of seconds before they secure it, does one of them stay alive? Skitey does it with a sliver of HP. He stays alive with 15% HP. Geez, so Yersey was trying to get aggressive, trying to go ahead and deny that res. But with a little bit of help, that res is actually going to be getting denied as Lynx has kind of rejoined the action right here, as has the likes of Easy, but unfortunately for him, he's going to be getting knocked.
Where Selen actually manages to surpass and go into third, but it's not going to be easy at all, as he gets himself the double, the full wipe, as Lynx takes out the entirety of FLOORPOV.
As you can see there, a great day yesterday went down. Alliance out victorious with a double Mandelbrick in round 5, as we said. And Mandelbrick Addiction able to get up there in the top spots as well. So 2 of the teams that had a hard time week 1 coming out strong here to start week 2, Vivid.
Yep, without a doubt, they played so well yesterday, and we actually saw through a bunch of those highlights how close the competition was, right?
Oh, yeah.
The margins on some of those Mandelbrick captures were just so close. I mean, we saw Skitey staying alive with 15% HP, Alliance barely kind of securing that Mandelbrick before somebody was able to steal it in the last remaining moments of Brakkesh. But yeah, a lot of work was done yesterday, like we already mentioned, by the likes of Alliance and MBA. So, you know, some of these teams are going to be joining the action here today. We'll have a lot to do as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at that MVP race, right? The player rankings so far. I do want to remind everybody at home that everybody has now played twice, so we're pretty much dead square even here. And Nox, listen, the highlight reel himself is what I like to call him. 21 kills, still stands at the top.
Him and Maxam set up there, both in the top 3, 2 players out of the same team. Not too often you see something like that happen. On top of the damage boards, it is Dickinson sat in a very solid 5,500 damage done position. Looking forward to see him take to the field today alongside even another other guys from LFS. Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be absolute blinder of a day today. Again, I mean, yesterday, as much as the highlights were all kinds of chaos and fighting, I feel like the pacing was different than what the highlights might portray, because it was very calm, very kind of calculated, but as soon as the fights went off, they went off big, and I can only imagine that GOT will be doing something similar here today.
Yep, without a doubt. A little bit of a passive approach yesterday, but we're going to be taking a look at Groups A and Groups D today, so hopefully that is going to change us a little bit, which is why, again, you can see here Team Gotaga all the way up there in first place with 14 total match points. They are a part of Group A, so an opportunity for them to kind of continue in their spot all the way up there towards the top. That being said, I mentioned it, you know, Group A and Group D, it's actually kind of crazy. The entirety of the top 6, by the way, the 2 groups that we're going to be watching here today, only one of group members A and D are actually found here in the top 6, and that's Team Gotaga up there in first place. So, you know, we kind of mentioned it yesterday. The big storyline for us was that a lot of the teams that were playing yesterday had a lot of work to do. That being said, you know, they had only played once, so coming into yesterday, it was their second opportunity to actually gain points. But now that everything's kind of dead square even, I mean, you know, we see the likes of FPOV, Fnatic down there in those relegation spots, right? 11th and 12th place. We're also going to be seeing Dark Entities there in 8th, LFS in 10th, and then MBA in 7th. So all 5 of those teams on the right side of your screen, they really want to have a good day today.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And of course, I mean, for the guys on Fnatic, Red Bull and the bunch, let alone getting to carry the banner that is the Orc of Fnatic on your shoulders, it comes with a certain level of pressure. I mean, of course, the league is long, so by no means is this out and done yet. There's still plenty of Delta Force left to be played. But for Fnatic, I think for the players as well, they wanted to get off to a good start. They want to, now that they've been signed by a big organization, show what they're capable of early on. And I could only imagine that with 2 forgetful days kind of out of the window, that they have found a way to full reset and get going today.
Yep, that's what it's all about, right? This grind of a 4-week group stage. It's a very long competition to kind of play through. But before we kind of jump into all of the action today, we have a video prepared for you guys at home to help you kind of understand what's going to be happening.
Delta Force. 1 game, 2 regions, 1 shot at glory. This is the complete guide to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Everything you need to know, from the very first match to the last squad standing. The path is the same in both regions. It starts with the open qualifiers, open to any team that wants to compete. The best push through to the group stage, where the top 2 advance directly to the finals, bottom 2 eliminated, and the rest battle through the survivor stage to earn their spot. From the open qualifiers, 12 teams have fought their way into the season, and only 1 will lift the trophy. The group stage runs for 4 weeks, with matches every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The 12 teams are split into 4 groups, A, B, C, and D. 3 teams per group. Each broadcast day, 2 groups go head-to-head in a cross-group match. Every match is a 7-round format. 6 teams competing in the same lobby simultaneously, across up to 7 rounds on maps like Zero Dam, Brakkesh, Tide Prison, and Space City. Teams earn squad points by scoring eliminations and accumulating in-game total assets. And on brick rounds, they compete to collect and decode Mandelbricks, artifacts that decide the round winner. Decode 2 Mandelbricks in a match and the victory is locked in, no matter what round you're on. After 12 match days, the group stage standings are final. Places 1 to 2 go straight to the finals. Places 3 to 8 enter Survivor Stage Day 1. Places 9 to 10 drop into Survivor Stage Day 2. Places 11 to 12 are eliminated. The Survivor Stage is where the bracket narrows fast. Day 1 brings those 6 teams together for one 7-round match. The top 2 advance directly to the finals. Places 3 to 6 get 1 more shot. Day 2 mixes the 4 survivors from Day 1 with the 2 teams ranked 9th and 10th from the group stage. Again, 6 teams, 1 7-round match. Top 2 go to the finals. Everyone else is out. 6 teams, 1 day, 1 lobby, 1 match. This is the finals, the ultimate showdown of the season. 2 teams earned it through the group stage. 2 more survived Day 1. The last 2 came through Day 2. Every team deserves to be there. The top 3 finishers earn an invitation to Season 2. Welcome to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Loot, shoot, extract.
Well, loot, shoot, extract. If it was only that easy. Here you can see the format, of course, an intricate one and a great explainer video telling you exactly how it all is going to work. I guess, I mean, as you were saying yesterday, the TLDRs make top 2 all the way through and you find yourself in a really, really good spot because this competition is incredibly difficult with it.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, we keep taking a look at those group standing leaderboards. As long as you're in top 10, you will have the opportunity to at least play in some of those survivor stages. Of course, you want to be higher up on the leaderboard because as you get higher up on the leaderboard, you know, obviously 1st through 2nd place will go directly to the finals. 3rd through 8th will play that Day 1 survival stage. And then if you aren't able to actually qualify through to the finals in that first day of that survival stage, and you will drop down to that 2nd day. So plenty of opportunities to actually qualify to the finals. But one of those points that I kind of made yesterday, it's crazy. This entire 5-week-long competition just comes down to a single day of competition. 1 day, 7-round match, 6 teams only. So obviously all of these matches here that we watch on every single one of these weekends over the course of the group stage, they mean so much because you really do want to be in those top 2 spots.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Here we can see the results of this event so far. Yesterday, as we know, Alliance came out victorious. We'll see if we get maybe, I mean, Gotaga, they won the very first day of the broadcast series and they're playing now. Maybe they can come out and maintain their first place. But as we now go into a bit more of the in-depth on how the tournament itself plays out.
Yep, without a doubt. And obviously, all of our players are going to be starting off with 1.5 million Technic Alloy. If they die, they're going to lose their gear. If they fail to extract, that is going to be a pretty obvious staple of Delta Force operations. However, the absolute most important thing that everybody at home needs to pay attention to, teams are ranked by Mandelbrick's capture. That is the most important scoring factor when we take a look at the leaderboard. And also, as a little caveat to that, if any team is able to go ahead and pick up 2 Mandelbricks, they will win without a doubt. We won't ask any more questions. We will actually stop the competition early as well. Right down there in the bottom of your screen in the middle, you kind of see how all the rounds are broken down. Rounds 1 and 3 will only have an airdrop, so no mana bricks there, but rounds 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, if we have to go to some of those later games, will all feature a mana brick. So the earliest a team could end this competition is technically game number 4. And as a little bit of a, hey, listen, you guys just can't play the same exact comp every single map. The operators that our teams have access to can only be used 2 times unless we make it all the way to game number 7, in which all of those operators will be once more made available.
Exactly, and here you can see what every player is starting with, as mentioned previously as well. 1.5 million technical alloy to kick things off. You get your 3x3 ultimate safe box, so plenty of space to store those golden reds. You get a 12-slot card holder, meaning you can effectively get yourself into every single VIP room there should be. You get a fixed supply every round of 0.7 million technical alloy. So even if you do go out early, you still have something to work with. You get 800,000 technical alloy per elimination. So that is absolutely huge. A lot of players playing for those kill points as well. Decoding, of course, Mandelbricks, that's your bread and butter, as you were saying just before, Vivid. And then, should you, unfortunately, be able to consecutively fail to extract, there will be a bit of a bonus, a bit of a, like a pat on the back money to go along with the players having a hard time in the tournament, which we saw yesterday. A lot of hard times were had indeed.
Yep, without a doubt. So if we're talking about those mana bricks being the most important thing, how exactly does it all work? So when we do jump into games that feature those mana bricks, they will become available shortly after the match starts. That kind of prevents any team from darting over there and having immediate access to it. However, once a team is able to pick up the mana brick, they only have 5 minutes to place it at a decoding station. If they do not, then it will reset back to that initial spawn point. If they are able to make their way over to a decoding station, a 4-minute timer will start. If that 4-minute timer goes all the way down to 0, then they capture the mana brick. However, if a different team kind of jumps onto that decoding station, it will take them 2.5 seconds to kind of intercept that mana brick for themselves. Then of which that 4 minutes, that 4-minute timer that it kind of started at, it will actually reset that whole timer and be reduced by 30 seconds. So the first time a steal kind of happens, it'll go down to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The second time a steal happens, it will go down to 3 minutes. And that keeps happening all the way until 1 minute and 30 seconds. That is the minimum decoding time. Also, as a little bit of a note here, if one of the teams that currently has control of the decoding station and the Mandelbrick that is in it, if they go down, if they are eliminated during the decoding process, the countdown timer will actually pause. So you have to stay alive if you actually want to go ahead and capture one of these mana bricks.
Oh yeah, a lot of info being thrown at you there, but honestly, watch a game, watch 2 games, and it will all make perfect sense, even if you're just the slightest bit confused. But of course, a great tournament, a great format comes with a great point system. Here you see at the end of the day how many points these teams will be rewarded over on the overall leaderboard here in the group stage. First place will net themselves 8 points, second 6, and so on and so forth. Important to mention though is that one of the additional pointers is you get a point per Mandelbrick obtained, meaning, for example, yesterday Alliance, they got the win and the double Mandelbrick. That is 10 points in the bag.
Now, the mana bricks are not the only thing that the leaderboard takes into consideration, right? We have a little bit of a tiebreaker system to kind of break down the teams that are tied in the amount of mana bricks that they have captured. And this is going to be delineated by squad points. Basically, all you need to know is how well you're performing throughout the day. That's how many squad points you're going to get. Kill points, each and every single one of the kills our teams are able to go ahead and pick up. They earn a single point for that. And then as well, every 2 mil in total stash assets a team is able to go ahead and pick up throughout the day is also going to be noted at 1 point. Now, Toby, we've talked about it, this very long competition, this 5-week-long competition. It all comes down to just a single day, a 7-round match in that final day, that final Sunday. And this is where the bulk of the prize pool will be fought for. Of course, our team in first place spot there will pick up $60,000. And I do want to go ahead and throw this quick note out to everybody at home. By the way, every single kill that you see on the screen is worth $50.
Oh, yeah. It accumulates 5 weeks of play. It accumulates to such a big We're kind of steamrolling through the assets here, telling me that we probably got a game ready to go. You saw the groups there for just a brief moment. As mentioned, we are watching Group A and D today. If your team is not playing here, you can see the full schedule of what's happening. We're halfway through week 2. Week 3, 4, and 5 will be taking place, of course, with the big finals happening on August 9th. You do not want to miss it. But with that said, we are now getting ready for the games to go. So let's take a look at the teams playing here today.
Of course, our first one that we're going to take a quick look at here, it's going to be Dark Entities. Now, listen, you kind of mentioned it. These guys need to make something happen today, but they are star-studded. They've got the likes of, like, Faldray. They've got Uzbishka on their team. You can see their game time. A lot of these guys up here are going to be upwards of, like, 2,000 game time in hours, so it's really, really crazy. But, yeah, Dark Entities, a star-studded squad without a doubt, and they got to make something happen today. We'll have to see if they can. But Team Gotaga, you want to talk about star-studded? A reminder to everybody at home, this is our team that is currently in first place on those group stage standings. We got an opportunity to talk to Vlad the last time these guys kind of won. Very, very humble guy. Naxa is going to be in the mix of every single one of these fights, and then Nox is probably going to be the guy that ends today with the most amount of kills.
Yeah,
he's so good.
Absolute beast. Absolute beast. Living for success as well. Can't be, I thought it was Saul Stigginson up there, top damage dealer overall so far. Really incredible performance, over 2k hours in the game as well. Even up there joining on with him. I mean, these guys, it's so fun because I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again. But that's what I love about these group stages with smaller groups, is that you have so many high caliber teams. It's practically impossible to predict who's going to be coming out on top.
Yep, without a doubt. And that is, of course, going to go ahead and round out those Group A teams that we're going to be seeing today. But the teams that they're going to be going up against, we've already mentioned it, Group D. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the lineups that we have coming out of that group as well in just a short spell. My eyes just throughout the day, though, without a doubt, are going to be on Team Gotaga. But the opportunity to take them down, of course, we saw the team of FLOORPOV just yesterday. Blake, Obsessed, and Yersei are going to be joining us here today. They're going to be that 3-man roster. And we saw a lot of highlights from these guys yesterday, right? Always kind of joining in on the mix. They had a pretty decent day yesterday.
Oh, definitely did. And they all started off on Zero Dame. I mean, you got Yersei with it. They got both of the airdrops, got a lot of eliminations with the arm in hand as well. So definitely a team to look out for right from the get-go here. Yersei was absolutely insane with the arm in hand. As we now take a look to Fnatic. The former RMB team did a lot in the early stages of 2026 and late 25 as well. Red Bull, such an impactful player, didn't have the best time yesterday, but overall, I mean, this team, there's a reason one of the biggest orcs in all of esports come out and pick you up. Jam as well with his utility in some of the later moments yesterday was absolutely pivotal.
Mandelbrick Addiction, a team that picked up 7 points yesterday. Prior to that, they only had 1. So it was a giant comeback for these guys. And it was on the back foot of this guy himself, Skydie. That moment on Space City when he stayed alive, when there was just a couple of seconds remaining on that decode. Pretty much allotted Mandelbrick Addiction that second place spot yesterday, which is why they kind of went from, you know, they were in like 11th, 12th place coming into the competition yesterday. And now, as it currently stands, in 7th place. So they got to be feeling pretty good. But here's the breakdown of the map rotation. We're going to be jumping into Zero Dam first, an opportunity for all of our teams to build up their economy so that way they can continuously buy the loadouts that they want throughout the day.
Exactly. Going to be a fun start to this one as we get into it. Of course, as the players get ready, we want to get ready as well, as so do you. And on screen now, before we hop into the first round, we got a quick break giveaway coming up. A redeemable code is about to appear on the screen. Well, it's right here for the Nikomini spray paint. Be quick. There's a limited number of activations, so once they're gone, they are gone. Good luck with it. This one has just 35 redemptions, so probably by the time I'm done speaking now, it's all taken. And, well, with that all out of the way, let's get right into it. First map up to date.
Dark Entities are going to be our team here with one of those tier 1 spawns. I am seeing off in the distance that the team of FPOV also got one of those tier 1 spawns. So these teams are going to be on head-to-head in the admin area. That being said, the team that usually kind of spawns on this side, we do see take out Saeed quite early on. So some access to some early loot there. And yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see how this one breaks down. Yesterday, we saw a giant kind of joining of all of our teams around the admin area. That being said, even though they kind of were next to one another, they never really actually ended up fighting. And a large majority of the fights that we ended up seeing yesterday on Zero Dam actually happened on the southern side of the map. So we'll have to keep a close eye on how this one in particular ends up panning out.
It's going to be quite interesting. I think, I mean, the team that got out with the most points in the first match yesterday, which was Floor, they started major substation and practically never left there. So we'll be interesting to see if it's going to be LFS out with the big reds here as we get today started off, or if it is, as it usually would be, the guys up in admin that get the bigger loot going early on. Everyone rocking blues in terms of ammunition and purples, and so we get the first pick. Not overly exciting. A little under 200k.
To get things rolling here for all of our teams. You're seeing it now off into the distance, right? That team of LFS kind of playing all the way to the south, up in those rocks. We've seen this a lot of the times from a bunch of our teams, and the reason is because it's just a strong position to kind of play, just to kind of preemptively place yourselves for some of those airdrops that are going to falling down from the sky just a little bit later on. That being said, Fnatic is currently trying to go ahead and scope this out. You can see some shots are going to be exchanged here. Raid Bull kind of opting to do the reconnaissance himself with just his gun out. That being said, they do have a Raptor here, so kind of would have preferred them to use the bird instead of just their bodies. But it looks like Fnatic are going to get the read there. They're like, hey, listen, LFS, they're already posted up on those rocks. We want nothing to do with that. So it looks like they're going to be opting to go ahead and take a little bit of a different rotation here.
Yeah, rather get a fight where you have the upper hand, better position coming into it. Also, I got super baited by the map feed for a second because Fnatic isn't on it. So I was like, wait, we're missing a team down in Visits Center, but they weren't back there. And now trying to get out of dodge over just towards cement. A little bit of a stalemate going on there as well, as teams do get looted on up. LFS looking for the intruders, but well, as we know it, Fnatic has already left.
Some reds flying in here for the likes of Dark Entities. I like to keep a mental count, or at least do my best to. I think that we're up to 2 now.
Yeah.
One for the likes of LFS and one for the team of Dark Entities. You can see Dark Entities is kind of flying up the leaderboard over there in terms of the profits, a giant lead above some of our other teams. That is probably due to the fact that they jumped into that admin building early on and they got to take out Saeed. So he probably had some golds on him that kind of helped them go ahead and boost those profits. But take a look at this. Team Gotaga and Team NBA are very close to one another. The dart is going to be actually coming over the top. That's going to be Team Gotaga with a Luna. Now, this is very interesting, Toby, because Lunas are typically saved for Space City, right? A lot of our teams actually value the operator of Luna in a map like Space City because just our util works so well on it. So using it on Zero Dam, man, Team Gotaga, that is an interesting to kind of keep note there. But take a look at this. FPOV and Team Dark Entities potentially going head-to-head here.
Yep, here's the fight that we never got to see yesterday. The proper brawl in admin between the two teams sat here. Dark Entities trying to get off to a good start here, but it's stalemating for a bit. A lot of utility spent early on, but no one really wanted to commit to the push on through. Nice little transition there across the alley as Fall right here still just sat waiting this one out.
Potential fights actually happening all around the map. I'm seeing Fnatic and LFS. They're actually approaching one another quite quickly. Obviously, we have the 3v3 that's going on in admin, and then we did have note of the teams in the cement plant. You can see that here, Team Gotaga and NBA. So it's kind of weird. We have 3 2v2s happening across the entirety of the map, and none of which are actually taking place over the very valuable airdrop, which is a little bit rare. That's usually where we see the first fight sometimes kind of happen on a map like Zero Dam. You can see Uvelier is just trying to hold things down. Now, taking note of his weapon of choice here, he's got an AS Val in hand. This would not do too well at range. That being said, Vlad is going to feel the pressure from it regardless and be forced off of that angle.
Yeah, gonna try and play a bit more defensive here. They don't have the full info on the whereabouts of Mandelbrick Addiction, I think. So that's also why they're playing this one a bit passive. We are already, though, I feel like, I mean, compared to yesterday, obviously, Group A weren't here yesterday, but we're already seeing, I think, Group D be that much more aggressive than we did yesterday. They were very much being on the back foot yesterday, as we see the map now. I love this move from LFS as well. They're playing major substation. They know that Fnatic were on their east side before, but now they've wrapped all the way around. And if Stickinson can get up into this zipline position and get a good high ground spot on them down below, that could be a huge way to start this fight.
You can see, though, unfortunately for the likes of FPOV, if you take a look at your bottom of your screen, it actually notes how well the person that we are looking at is doing in terms of armor. Obsessed right there actually had broken armor, and I think his helmet was also broken as well. So the war of attrition here is being won by the likes of Dark Entities. That being said, Flaric also had a gold armor. I think that's off of Saeed, so great note for them. But take a look at this. LFS Dickinson is actually going to open up the day with our first kill here on Zero Dam. And you can see the tricky little spot that he was actually holding all the way up here towards the top of the zip line. Unfortunately for the member of Fnatic, actually jumped out into the open, but take a look at this. Team Gotaga are also starting to get a little aggressive as Skitey is going to be feeling the wrath of Vlad there, but Uvelier goes ahead and trades it out, but not before Nox says something of his own. So now Team Gotaga, they're going to be in a situation here to go ahead and pull off the 2v1, or they can maybe play for the res.
Yeah, Juvelier forced to back off here. Tricky position. Thought he had the upper hand peeking through the window from up high, but only able to get the one down. Stalemate once again here between FLOORPOV and Dark Entities, at least for a little while, as Fnatic also losing one there before happened exactly as we thought it would. Nice flank move from Stigginson. But we stay with the guys here as we now finally get the fight started in admin proper as well. Maxa will get back on his feet as we now see the push come through. Obsess already gone down.
You can see this full right is going to go ahead and throw down some of that Gizmo utility, which is going to make it very, very difficult for Team FPOV to kind of have any space to work with. And that space is going to be conceded entirely as Team Dark Entities do gain enough to go ahead and take out that full res. Now turning back into Nox here again. This is kind of a 3v1 now. The res did come in. Uvelier is under a lot of pressure. And when Team Gotaga are on the other side of things, I already mentioned it. You got Nox. He's going to be getting so many kills throughout the day, but this team just plays so well. This is why they're in first place.
Off to a great start already. All of them staying on their feet. So good in these close quarter engagement and communicating with one another. No having to peek for one another. Speaking of peek, and all of FLOORPOV doing so right here. Dark Entities, the first one to take casualties. Fall rate falls to USA early. Gets flushed out with the nade as well. So they're down to just the two of them. A proper 2v2 now. Blake USA, of course, the only ones alive after Obsessed fell earlier on. So even fight for the time being, but would only imagine that other teams are going to start looking this direction now as well.
Yeah, great job from FPOV there to go ahead and equalize the numbers. Remember, they were kind of down due to the pressure that Dark Entities was able to go ahead and apply. Dark Entities do have the opportunity to kind of play for the res, but it looks like Uzbishka is going to actually go ahead and ego challenge that, and they're going to push a little bit forward here. I think the Shepherd Trap goes off, but Yersei with a little bit of a jump peek, a sliver of HP, and Uzbishka, the last man standing for Dark Entities. He was in a 1v2, and I got to imagine a little bit of a flick shot must have came through for him to go ahead and clutch that one up. Dark Entities are going to win the admin fight.
Yeah, but they're on the clock now as these shots were fired as this fight came through. Fnatic heard all of that, and they're currently sprinting towards admin. As I say that, they do slow down for a bit, so maybe they're not that much in a hurry anymore. But at least they were, having heard all of the action take place in admin. Of course, no one jumped on the airdrop just yet. Just sitting here, ready for anyone to come on over and pick it up. Follow rate will get back on his feet as well. So Dark Entities back up to 3 alive after a finished fight against FLOORPOV.
It would see the convergence that's kind of happening on the admin area. That being said, Team Gotaga are going to be left all alone on the south side of the map. And that pretty much allots them free access to the airdrop. Both airdrops, by the way, you can see one to the south side here, right here, that Team Gotaga are currently going for. And then there's one just off to the west of that admin building. Yeah. Neither one of these have actually been opened yet. So anybody that kind of makes their way over to them is going to be able to go ahead and secure them for free. I think Team Gotaga, I would expect them to go ahead and probably get an or an M82 sniper rifle. I think the first airdrop that kind of lands usually drops that weaponry. So we'll have to see if they go ahead and opt to play for it. I mean, I have no idea why they would not at this current point.
It's just one of those things where because it's been so long since they landed, maybe they might not even check. You know, like they're going, nah, of course it's been looted by somebody else. Look. I mean, yeah, exactly. But
what?
We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening as Fnatic. They did lose Bind earlier on. They heard other teams around them and now sat here in a bit of a trap position, trying to figure out whether anyone is coming their way or not. As Gotaga, they're continuously roaming around that southern side, trying to clear out everything before, I would imagine, making their way over towards the airdrop.
I think the Raptor drone No, they don't even have a Raptor. I thought they sent a Raptor drone up in the air. I thought I saw a Raptor drone. I think I'm seeing things here today, but you say because they don't have a Raptor, actually, I should say, Team Gotaga, it can be a little bit more worrisome than if you did have a bird kind of flying around to go ahead and give you all the information. Of course, they still do have the information finding upward or Luna, but she can kind of only send a dart in the direction, one direction to kind of scan it all out. But it looks like they have gained the confidence to kind of feel like nobody is in the area. So they're going to go ahead and jump onto this airdrop. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at what they do get. And yep, we're seeing the ammunition come into hand for the likes of Maxa, which means that indeed, Team Gotaga are going to have the early on here, and I got to mention it. I would imagine that they probably want to take this extract to the south of the map. That being said, it's actually grayed out. They might have activated it to deny it from another team, or maybe they have the timing to still make their way over there. We'll have to see.
We'll see. Regardless, I mean, even if they're up to maneuver their way further towards the east, there's pretty much nothing preventing them from doing so. Of course, it's limited on the extract on the northeast. Still doable to get a replay here as Vishka peeking on over, getting the first one to exactly where he had the second. Nice double coming through there. A little fist bump, a little cheer. Heresy does fall, but that's a FLOORPOV. They get to try again come next game.
Yep, Team Gotaga actually did go ahead and activate this extract. So they're going to be getting out. This is going to be a big win for Team Gotaga, right? 3 kills, so you get the 800k in loot from that. You obviously walk away with the and all of its bullets, and you can see their profits over there on the left side of your screen. 4 million. So a great round for them. I mean, listen, they don't have 6 kills or like 9 kills or anything like that, but 3 is enough, man. The airdrop is going to be plenty for them to feel confident. And we'll have to see when they opt to go ahead and invest some of that. But 3 teams still left alive, and only one possible extract appears to be on the minds of all 3 of these teams. We still got Dark Entities and LFS as a 3-man, and Fnatic. Remember, long ago, they lost Bean, so they're just a duo.
Yeah, LFS, they've been sitting over here waiting for somebody to pull the lever for a long, long time. Also, do you want to hear a big mind-blowing fact of it? We have already had more players extract today than we did all of yesterday.
Great job, Team Gotaga.
Exactly. They're really upping the average by quite the margin here. Of course, yesterday we only had 2 players extract, and that was in the very final moments of the very final game. A absolute chaos of a day, as now everyone's going to be sat here waiting this timer out for a bit, at least 3 minutes on the clock. As we can see, it is, of course, the... I mean, I guess, is it new anymore, the way that it's set up here? I'm not sure what you'd consider it, but...
yeah, the layout of the extract.
Exactly, exactly.
Kind of some different ways to kind of jump in here makes it just a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah.
Our teams, though, right? You would imagine Team Dark Entities, the most is kind of, I feel like, riding on the line for them. You can see their profits are upwards of 4 million. So they really want to be the team to kind of get out here. They already have 3 kills in hand. LFS are the ones that have early access to the extract, though, so they're going to be the ones that have to be pushed off of it. That being said, LFS are also kind of in a good position because probably a lot of these members, other 5 members that are kind of outside of the extract, are at one moment just going to run in there and probably go ahead and just hand over some kills to the likes of Team LFS, which would be great for them. We'll have to see how that pans out. And by the way, that second airdrop over there to the west of the admin was never open.
Nope.
Nobody picked it up.
Nope, never taken. There is still time for somebody to make a mad dash for it, but with just under 2 minutes left on the elevator extract, you'd have to imagine that no one's going to even consider going over there. Fnatic down to 2 Dark Entities. I mean, they're sat here waiting for anyone to come towards them. And LFS, I mean, they're literally sat on the dot waiting this one out as well. I think my main question here is going to be, will it be Fnatic to kind of initiate this fight by maybe taking the early shots towards Dark Entities as they make their way on in? Regardless, it's going to be one of those type things where it's going to be stalling, 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 and then in the matter of 10 seconds, we're going to see 2 teams wiped.
Yep, just a single minute for teams to kind of decide what they feel like is going to be worth it here on approach. Team Fnatic are looking for that second team that they kind of expect to make their way over towards the extract, which is why they're kind of playing these angles from the admin building, right? They're hoping that these windows give them some sort of a sight line towards some other team that starts to run at this extract. You can see that Team Dark Entities Flarik on the Raptor right here. You can see his bird is actually on cooldown, so he's been using that. So there is information granted to these other teams that there is a team on the outside of the extract.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of in the area, just simply based on the fact that they see a bird flying around.
Yep. Definitely 40 seconds left to work with as they send the Hawk up high again. Try and scan forward. Does he get eyes on anyone? No, doesn't see anyone outside. But hey, I mean, not seeing anyone, that's not necessarily the worst thing that can happen to you when you're sad. And it's only 1.7 mil that Elvis has in the bank so far. Now comes the spot. They do see him in the end of it. Claret set up there waiting, but with just 10 seconds left to play, I mean, Dark Entities, they're just, I mean, I guess not going to even bother trying.
Yeah, I'm not sure entirely what the game plan was there for them. There is just a single minute remaining.
Did they maybe
for them to kind of make something
see
happen?
them or hear them in admin and go, wait, that's got to be the other team, right? Like, I mean, they must have heard or seen something on the Fnatic side of things to make them think that's where the other team is. And then, while waiting it out, they just didn't dare make that move over, like with the fear of being engaged on from both sides.
Definitely a potential here. We'll have to see if Raid Bull, I think he was actually making his way over towards maybe the extract or maybe just checking on the airdrop itself. But he's gonna be like, oh yeah, guys, listen, this is unlooted. And they were actually struggling. I mean, their profits were at like 300K. So this is going to be like what feels like a triple or maybe even like a quadruple in terms of the amount of profits. Yeah, now they're up to like 1 mil. Prior to this, I think they were at like 200, 300K. And all of that loot is pretty much going to be safe as it all kind of fits in that 3x3 safe box. But I guess all 5 of these operators are going to be quite happy with how the raid went for them. Not interested at all in extracting. We did see 2 teams, the likes of Team Gotaga, make their way out. A full 3-man roster extracting for them. To boot with that, they had the sniper rifle in hand as well. And a 4 mil in total profits. The other team that made their way out through the elevator extract there to the north of the admin building, Team LFS, we just kind of watched that one go down. Another team feeling confident in how that one went for them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just terrifying, the thought that Gotaga is the ones coming off to the best start in the Zero Dame round. Because usually, I mean, not always, but oftentimes, the team that comes out the strongest out of Zero Dame, especially when they all get to extract, will come in to that first Mandelbrick on Brakkesh that much stronger.
Yep, we'll have to see if they kind of choose to invest it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our best team here. No surprise, Team Gotaga. Again, they went ahead, they picked up that 3 kills, that wipe of the squad of MBA. It was clean little 3v3 for them, so they did 670 damage in that fight. But the big caveat there for them is, without a doubt, the assets gained. Of course, a lot of that coming from that sniper rifle, which is always going to be in their stash, always going to be at the ready to kind of bring in. Let's go ahead and take a look at the individual breakdowns of some of our teams. Again, no more than 3 kills on any single one of our teams. We see Team Gotaga and Team Dark Entities both picking up 3 kills, so it's going to be good for them in terms of the leaderboard and that 800K that you get for every single one of those kills. That being said, Team LFS, yeah, they only got 1 kill, and they're a little bit behind in terms of the profits of Dark Entities, but are they all extracted?
Yeah, that's going to save them a lot of money, having to buy into that next round. Of course, Spischka with the double. Nice flick he had in admin on FLOORPOV. Great job on him. And then, of course, Nox, our current kill leader in the entirety of the tournament, able to rack up 2 in their fight against Mandelbrick Addiction early on as well. Both doing a whole lot of damage on their respective opponents to come out victorious in their fights.
Some of the damage dealers here, and actually tie. That's kind of rare here. Nox and Yersei at 400 apiece there. That's super, super rare. Some of our assists coming in from Fnatic, actually, and we talked about it. Dark Entities, they had 3 kills, and Fnatic got an assist for every single one of them. So great job to Fnatic right there. Maxa also picking up an assist for 2 out of the 3 kills that their team was able to go ahead and pick up. But no surprise to see 2 members of Team Gotaga all the way up here in terms of the top asset earners, Maxa and Vlad. And that pretty much is just who was kind of holding the arm and some of the loot they were able to find amongst some of the map.
I was gonna say, because we didn't see any like huge drops though. 2 reds, one of them sat like at sub 200,000. So the fact that anyone got anywhere near that is big. Of course, that's what the arm and the bullets will do for you as we get Zero Dame closed off. I mean, more action than yesterday, still a bit, I would say, of a quiet Zero Dame. Very calculated play styles coming out of the players here. They're clearly playing very brain first, not so much just pure aggression.
Yep, without a doubt. Very exciting stuff there on Zero Dam to kick off the day. Listen, for everybody at home, I'll let you in on a little secret. We went through it yesterday, the entire competition. We had a couple of giveaways yesterday, and we'll have a couple of giveaways today. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But before we jump into any more of the action, before we jump into Brakkesh, our first Mandelbrick round, let's take a short break.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat!
This... And Elixir's got it, though. They're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts! For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off to that.
My name is Red Bull, and I'm the leader in game for Fnatic team. I didn't hear something from someone somewhere. I'm just looking on Twitch some games, and I see Delta Force. We are a team of 3 French players with extensive experience across several different FPS games. None of us have been a pro in another game. We're just tryharder guys, like everyone. We are 3 shooters in the team, and we overall roles for do the best. I play with Bane from the start of the game. I do a lot of tournament with him. We did a lot of good performance, but recently we lose the third guy, so we taking Jaime recently before the last tournament, and all is good for the moment. I'm proud about our journey, our team spirit, and the great atmosphere. For me, that's the most important things we have to have in the group. We had a minor issue with a former teammate who completely ruined our qualification for a Pro League. He just did a big mistake in the Mandelbrick as 5 last seconds. He just received for no reason. But otherwise, apart from that, most of the tournament went very well with the different teammates. We're gonna be first.
Got the Mandelbrick. Find it. Stop them. Mandelbrick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first Mandelbrick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, I'm not going to do very much, though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. So much damage, and there it is. Team Gotaga off to an incredible start, netting themselves the arm on Zero Dam, now ready to put it to full use, coming over to Brakkesh. Already sat in first place on the overall board. Will be interesting to see how they're gonna fare as we now get in on the Mandelbrick rounds. Welcome back, everyone. Here's the leaderboard looking at how everything went down in that match number 1 vid.
Yep, Team Gotaga, no surprise to see them towards the top of the leaderboard. Again, we talked about it, 3 kills for them and all of the loot that they were able to pick up. That's them 9 total points. With that being said, the big question that me and Toby keep raising, we're going into Brakkesh. We're going into our first Mandelbrick of the day. It is very obvious that Team Gotaga have a giant lead in terms of the amount of gear that they could bring in here into this Brakkesh. Do they decide to invest it or not? Maybe that decision is going to be based on whether or not they have access to a tier 1 spawn. And take a look at this, Toby. They do indeed. A quick note for everybody at home. How these spawns work on competitive operations Delta Force side is that you cannot get the same tier of spawns in back-to-back games.
It's true. That is true. We are now getting ready for Brakkesh. And as you can see, I mean, D-Wolf was used twice in that first one. Not an operator you tend to see a whole lot of coming into the ladder maps, of course. Still a little curious as to the arrow used in the first one, but here we have the giveaway coming up before round 2. Another one coming through. Watch your screen. There's the code for the SR3M Combat Ready. Make sure to redeem it as soon as you can, because there's only 25 redemptions of this one, so you gotta be quick if you want to get yourself the code.
Very cool skins. I mentioned it. We're gonna have some giveaways throughout the day, so make sure you guys kind of stay tuned and attentive. Let's go ahead and take a look at the spawns, though. Team Gotaga, they did get one of those tier 1 spawns, as did the team of Fnatic. And I'm taking a look at some of the operators over here, see what some of our teams kind of brought in. I'm not seeing an investment in terms of the Tempest for Team Gotaga, but I am seeing a Tempest for the likes of Mandelbrick Addiction. And we actually saw them do the same exact thing yesterday.
Yeah.
Team NBA. They were the only team actually to bring in a Tempest yesterday, I do believe, on the map of Brakkesh. So an early investment is what it feels like in terms of the operator pool. But my sights are, of course, turned to that team of Gotaga, and the Luru for them, the Morris, and the Toxic is going to be brought in.
Definitely. We'll see if Mandelbrick Addiction opts to commit to try and claim this one early again. As ooh, okay, a little nifty half-mil drop comes through for FLOORPOV. They did fall out early in that previous game, so a little redemption loot coming through, as opposed with a good pickup of a red early on here in game 2.
You can see this little 3v3 that's happening between Fnatic and Team Gotaga. This will obviously give one of these two teams complete and utter control over the likes of Museum. And we know how many times that we have seen the decoding station make its way to be the one that's actually in Museum, which is why this early spot is so pivotal. But the Toxic ult comes out from Vlad. He jumps right in and tries to land some of the shots. He was actually successful in landing a few there, but Raid Bull was a little bit too wise to fall down to that specific strategy there. He does get out, does take a little bit of damage, and his armor does get tattered just a little bit, but he's going to be fine after a full reset comes in.
Yeah, we heard an interview with Raid Bull there in the break just moments ago. They lost one of their players to another team coming into the tournament, and picked up Jam as a result of it, as Mandelbrick Addiction do once again go for the brick early on. We saw that happen yesterday. We'll see it here once more. But just nice to see, I mean, Fnatic pick up a player coming into what is arguably the biggest event they've ever played in, and Jam already being off to such an incredible start. That's got to be a good feel for them, knowing that they made a good move in signing him on the roster.
Unfortunately for the likes of NBA here, you can see Team Dark Entities are kind of laying in wait.
Oh, yeah.
They've got full information on this rotate that's trying to be made here by Team NBA, and the shots do come in. I feel like Dark Entities potentially shot just a little bit too early, because NBA still have the opportunity to go ahead and jump behind cover and potentially retreat. If you waited just a couple of more seconds, I mean, NBA would have walked into the open, walked into a little bit better of a sightline for you. So I feel like Dark Entities might have missed the mark right there, and NBA are, of course, going to be forced to retreat. Let's kind of take a look at where they opt to go. It looks like they're going to make their way over towards the Tower of Babel. With that being said, there's only one decoding station towards this way, which is going to be off to the east of the tower. And actually, as I go ahead and try to make that point, looks like they opt to not go through that garage and make sort of that rotation. And now I feel like we're going to see something similar that we saw yesterday. NBA were the first team to pick this Mandelbrick up on Brakkesh, but they kind of hit away. They hit it off in that building, just right off to the side of the Mandelbrick, and they kind of just waited. So much so that it actually went ahead and reset, right? That 5-minute timer actually ran out. And it looks like Team NBA, they're not feeling too comfortable about the moves that they have made so far, and they might potentially feel stuck again, so much so that we might see them kind of bunkered down here for quite some time.
It wouldn't be too surprising if that's exactly what ends up happening. They know, of course, that somebody would have spawned down in the Tower of Babel, and having just been shut up by dark entities on that eastern side, I feel like they know that they're definitely kind of pinned down from multiple angles here. As Jam would just mentioned, him goes out and takes down not just the player, but the current kill leader in the entire tournament. Knocks down early. That's a big loss to Gotaga, but a nice response there from Laddie.
Through the smoke as well, and that's why our pro players are just so good, right? They have these sight lines just known so well to them that they can kind of make those shots happen through the smokes. Even when they can't see the actual angle itself, they know exactly where it is at. Now, this kind of got NBA interested because they're like, wait a minute, we just heard shots go off in Museum. Are these two teams fighting? Do we have the opportunity to kind of run in here and sneak towards that decoding station? And doesn't look like they're going to be too interested in that specifically. Actually, what they're doing is they're using this little bit of an alleyway to potentially make their way over towards the Ashara camp decoding station. But I think Dark Entities are going to try once more to kind of prevent this rotation from happening.
Exactly. They put down the old early to give them info on the push come through. But as you said too, Dark Entities trying to cut them off once more. Of course, important to note as well that Brakkesh is kind of a unique round in this tournament, as it is both a Mandelbrick and airdrop round. Combination of the both. As we can see, the first airdrop down already. FLOORPOV will have access to that up in the north as the lure ult does come through. Doesn't really connect. Does bring Skitty down to just around half health. But looks like MBA or Mandelbrick Addiction will be running off to the market on the northeast side. This is a very tricky position to hold this this particular decoding station. So hard because you're way out in the open.
You can see Fleric and his team actually got here early enough, but Skitty was fully prepared for the angle. And Fleric just got a wake-up call there. He's like, listen, we've been kind of attacking these guys forever now, but NBA were no longer interested in kind of playing their games. They're not going to go ahead and potentially press this res. Actually, as I say that, the Tempest Stalk comes out. You can see the Gizmo Spiders are also making their way over towards this res. They want to go ahead and secure this kill. Can Skitty make anything happen? But so much utility from the side of Dark Entities is probably going to prevent this push. But oh my gosh, he's allotted to just jump right through the smoke, and he gets the final shots needed.
How he got one mid-air there, I have absolutely no clue. Fleric's gonna feel so annoyed about that one come through. But good job anyway on Scotty, able to get that one down. Of course, massive impact player in Mandelbrick Addictions. Mandelbrick win on the first Space City round yesterday. Really key impact player. Not only securing the Mandelbrick, but then getting a 1v2 in the moments right thereafter, after his team had gone down. So definitely a player to look out for his individual prowess.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the map feed here. What are some of our teams doing about the fact that Mandelbrick Addiction have placed it into a decoding station? Team Dark Entities are the ones that currently seem to be the only ones interested in it, right? They're the only team that's kind of within 150 meters, it looks like. Team Gotaga are trying to make something happen all the way on the left side of your screen. They're trying to make a very long rotation. Somehow, some way, though, FPOV appeared to be completely and perfectly set up for that one. As does it kind of appears to be a similar situation on the south side. LFS are kind of laying in wait for one of the teams to kind of make a similar rotation, and Fnatic might kind of walk into those open sight lines against Team LFS.
It's going to be dangerous. Multiple potential flanks coming up here. And this is kind of what Mandelbrick Addiction is hoping for, because if everyone kind of clear makes their way towards the decoding station, it just takes them on with their full three-man teams right off the bat. It's so difficult. But if a lot of the teams fight one another trying to get there, then all of a sudden the defensive position you're in on the brick itself becomes that much easier to try and hold. As Gotaga, they would have heard the full maneuvering of the player sat down below. Here's a little rip for the AI. This one gets taken down, but FLOORPOV also well aware of Gotaga nearby.
Oh no. This could be disastrous for Team Gotaga. And yep, indeed, laying in wait was Yersei. He goes ahead and picks up Vlad. And on the back foot of that, Blake actually finds Moxa as well. So unfortunately for Team Gotaga, up towards sort of the north side of the map, they have kind of again chopped down to just a single member. But still, this fight is going on for this Mandelbrick. It's just a straight up 3v3 as we go ahead and tune into Nox. He's trying to make something happen. He finds one, but it's not going to be enough. Team Gotaga are wiped off the map. But still, we have to turn our attention over to what's happening towards this Mandelbrick. Somehow, some way, Team Fnatic actually pick up a knock onto the likes of Dark Entities right there. So they're kind of forced to reset. And with that being said, you mentioned it, Toby. This is exactly what NBA wants to happen. All of these teams kind of fighting as this clock ticks down. There's a minute remaining.
Exactly. Everyone trying to make their way towards it at the same time, having to fight one another forward as Red Bull trying to make his way back to safety. Just 50-some seconds left. LFS are still sat on the south side. I haven't seen them move an inch the last 3 minutes. There's a big fight happening right on the other side of them. I'm not sure why they're opting to play this as defensively as they are, especially given the fact that there's just 35 seconds left on the Mandelbrick.
Team Dark Entities are still kind of in a position to just make a full send happen, but it would just have to be a full send, and the probability of them kind of walking away with that kind of strategy being successful is so low. And it looks like Team NBA, amongst all the chaos happening elsewhere around the map, are going to be allotted to go ahead and secure the first Mandelbrick.
Of course, I mean, you don't win by getting yourself the first, but I don't think I've ever seen a break being given over this freely. Of course, Dark Entities, they're in a tricky position, knowing that they have opponents on both sides, but LFS being this passive, and FLOORPOV, of course, a little late to it, couldn't really do a whole lot. So off of that, Mandelbrick Addiction gets themselves one. Again, I'm not really having to do a whole lot in order to claim it.
Still a lot to play for, though. We do know that these kills, they start to come into play in the later stages of our competition when we do take a look at the leaderboard. But under heavy pressure right now is going to be the likes of Fnatic, the helicopter. I did see them actually take out one singular pilot, so only one more is actually required before this thing goes down. And there it is. Bane looks like he finally found the shot, so that helicopter is going to be suppressed for the time being. I feel like it's going to be important for us to note as well is that the loot that helicopter actually drops is a little bit more important than we give it credit for, because it does drop those lucky wooden sculptures that give you access to some of that golden armor. Kind of gives you a little bit of a leg up.
When it then lands on top of the tower, does that then mean you can't get to the loot?
Hold that thought as we take a look at LFS and Fnatic kind of go head to head here. Some sort of shots landed. That Allure rocket landed perfectly, but unfortunately for Imperator, the Jam lands a great nade, so they're going to be finding the knock right there. And now Fnatic are going to have a 3v2 advantage. They're trying to spray through the smoke to go ahead and do enough damage, and it looks like they did. Stickinson and Evan are both down to 50% HP. But Bane kind of gets caught out here in the open, unfortunately, to the likes of Dark Entities. That was a great Molotov from Uzbishka that almost found enough damage to take Bane out, but looks like he was able to go ahead and heal up and kind of find a reset. But Toby, actually, that helicopter itself always lands kind of perched up on one of these buildings, no matter where you kind of take it out. But the box of loot itself actually falls down to the ground right below it. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. As LFS now, well, we'll see. We'll see what they can do with just the two left remaining. Fnatic obviously played an aggressive position there, but with Dark Entities creeping on in now, they're not really looking too eager to move further forward. There is still one more airdrop to be looted on the far western side, which the last two of LFS could actually push north to try and claim. Fnatic is looking to go that same direction, maybe trying to cut them off. In doing so here as well, you can see they are currently transitioning further towards the west, back towards Museum.
I think it is going to be important for us to note as well. We didn't call it out when it happened, but I am kind of recalling here. I think it was Team FPOV that actually picked up that first airdrop, and you can actually see at the top of your screen, yes, they were the ones who activated it. They got an M82 sniper rifle out of that, so they currently have some upgraded weaponry, but their profits are up to 5 mil. You can see it on the left side of your screen, just based on the fact that they've been able to loot so much. Obviously, they've looted the airdrop, but then they also got to loot all 3 of the kills that they got when they were able to go ahead and pick up the likes of Team Gotaga. And good shout, Toby, because LFS were actually the team that does make their way over to this second airdrop, and they're going to be rewarded with it with a couple of golds there, but the ventilator to go ahead and net them probably in total, I would say, like, what, 800K?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Is that what, I mean, what would you say is the cutoff line of what, what you consider worthwhile? Because obviously it comes with a bit of risk involved, usually at least, when you try to go claim the airdrop. Like, sub 1 mil, are you happy, or would you have preferred to get, obviously, I mean, the arm, the big guns and all that, but in terms of just raw value, what are you hoping for in the airdrop?
Yeah, I mean, 800K is fine, because usually it's guaranteed to go ahead and fit in that 3x3 safe box. So it's 800K that you're going to make your way out with anyway. As we're taking a look at one of the fights that are kind of popping off right here. Team NBA are trying to now fend off the likes of FPOV. Skitey's trying to make something happen here. He rolls out, but opts to go ahead and retreat before he is even knocked. He started to feel the pressure right there. So great decisions from him. And somehow, some way, by the way, we are actually going to see an extract being called in, right? Somebody has actually pulled the switch from an opportunity here for all of our teams to actually make their way out of the map. That being said, less than 4 minutes remain here on Brakkesh.
Oh, yeah. And believe you me, that extract just south of Museum, exactly where Follow Raid from Dark Energy is currently set, that is going to be heavily fought over. We've seen it time and time and time again. How hectic it tends to get. Oftentimes, as a matter of fact, you'll see like a ton of smokes being lobbed in, and then multiple teams getting players extract. Let's just jump in last second to try and kind of join the helicopter with their opponent. So we'll see what's going to be the case. Still got a bit over 3 minutes left on the extract on the southern side. FLOORPOV, in the meantime, they went down to check out what used to be a Mandelbrick. Not there anymore. We're like, oh, okay, nothing there. We'll go back up north again. I don't think they've been south of the parking lot at any point in this game yet.
Yeah, good note there. And it looks like they are going to kind of retreat to home base is what it kind of feels like. Probably interested in taking that backpack extract, I would imagine. Just trying to soup up one of their members with the M82 and all the loot they can possibly hold, which I do think they're kind of dropping loot over. Exactly. Whenever you see a team's profits go down on the left side, it means they're probably just dropping the loot on the ground for one of their other teammates to go ahead and pick up. And we'll probably see those profits kind of return to that high number that we did see prior. By the way, Toby, I mean, listen, we're 2 minutes away, but we are about to see an absolute bloodbath happen on this extract. Like, everybody at home, prepare yourselves, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams already around this extract, and I would imagine we'll probably see the duo of FPOV also make their way over here once they do send out one of their members from that backpack extract. So, like, 5 total teams will be over here towards this extract.
Everyone making a run for it. We'll see who's going to come out victorious. There's a lot of utility being used already to try and slow this push come through. Great Bolt sprinting around upstairs, living up to his name as best as can be. A bull in a building, just blicing on through. Also with the Gizmo utility trying to make something happen here. Can't quite find the angle, but we do get an up come through. It's even finding Bane.
Yeah, great shots there. Blake does make his way out to that backpack extract, but a return is actually going to be found from one of the other teams in the mix here. That's going to be Full Rate from Dark Entities, who, by the way, have permanent control over the extract. So they kind of snuck away to kind of find some of the damage here. And take a look at this. They find another one. That's going to be Flaring, picking up Evan there. So great job from him. And take a look over towards that extract. I mentioned it. Dark Entities, they did have control over the extract initially, but because of these positions that all of their teammates are kind of playing to find some of these angles to pick up some of the kills, they've conceded that position on the extract entirely. And now Team NBA are the ones that are sitting pretty on the extract with a lot of control.
And it is not often you get a team with the Mandelbrick claim that also gets to do a full extract. So if they all get out of here, that is going to be an insanely rewarding round for Mandelbrick Addiction. We'll see if that's going to end up being the case or not. As Raid Bull tries to get to cover, but not quite the case. Obsess finds him mid-transition there. As Bishka now taking down one from Mandelbrick Addiction as well. Does get the flush on him too. Obsess gets themselves one more. 1 for 2 versus Fnatic so far.
Yeah, Fnatic challenging an angle like this makes it too easy for Obsessed. That being said, 15 seconds until this extract actually goes off. It does look like the member of NBA was fully kind of wiped off. You can see that little bit of a cross on the map. So they're off in the distance. They're not going to be able to res that third member. But I think 2 members of NBA are actually going to make their way out via this extract. It does go ahead and get activated right there. And sure enough, Boldo and Skitey are going to be safely out of this one. And with just 5 seconds remaining and 6 members actually still around the map, I don't think anything is going to happen here. And yeah, sure enough, 6 failed extracts right there of members kind of still alive around the map. But NBA, even though they had 1 member kind of fail their extract, them as a team were without a doubt the most successful with a Mandelbrick secured of their own.
What a... I feel like this entire map was just teams constantly stumbling over one another, you know? A team comes in, they have a plan of what they want to do. Oh, wait, there's an opponent there. Go over, wanting to do something else. Oh, wait, there's an opponent there. And then all of them kind of falling short of what they're trying to accomplish. Such a tricky round with FLOORPOV kind of playing a little bit of spoiler or wrap positions. And on both sides of the map, really first against Gotaga up on the northern side and then on the west as well. But the winners, of course, of this one Mandelbrick Addiction getting themselves a, not want to say a freebie, but when you get yourself a Mandelbrick and you only do 230 damage for it, I feel like that's a pretty easily earned Mandelbrick.
Yeah, they were kind of questioning what was going on around the rest of the map. Well, what was going on was FLOORPOV. They were getting active. You could see it, 5 total kills for them. 2.6 mil. They were able to kind of extract, of course, with that M82 sniper rifle and so many assets to kind of go ahead and boot. For top killers, though, a tie across the board here between the likes of Yersey, Obsess, who are both a part of Team FPOV there. And then we saw a third member kind of join the mix as well. Some of our top damage dealers, no surprise to kind of see Uzbishka up here. Every single time that we saw Dark Kansas, he's kind of in a fight. He was constantly landing shots. He was constantly landing Molotovs. So that's why the damage was so high for him.
Oh, yeah. I think he had 2 kills stolen, though. I mean, early on in the game, you saw one get knocked, creeps behind a wall. Then Raidbull was the one, I believe, to steal that point away. So happens to the best of them. As Blake is the one, he was the one getting sponged up with all of the loot on the side of FLOORPOV. Up on that northern side, got the backpackless extract and got out with 1.6 mil in the back.
And our MVP there of game number 2, it's of course going to be Obsessed, just on the back foot of him picking up those 2 kills, which happened amongst the last like 30 seconds there onto the 2 members of Fnatic. But a great effort from the likes of Team FPOV. Obviously, they're going to be one of the teams that just have so much loot available to them. Of course, that M82 sniper rifle. They kind of join the mix of Team Gotaga, who have the available to them, which I don't think they brought that in. We didn't get a full-scale information on what they brought in, but I do not think they kind of brought in the which lucky enough for them, because they got caught by a team kind of creeping around FPOV, actually, unfortunately, for Team Gotaga.
Definitely, Mandelbrick Addiction getting themselves the Mandelbrick here in the first one. They did dare, I suppose you could say, to bring in a Tempest very early on. Usually they're kind of kept for the Space City, so good on them that they at least get rewarded for their efforts. That's going to do it for the Brakkesh round. We're now going to change things up and hop over to Tide Prison for yet another air supply round. But before that, a quick break, so stick around and we'll see you all again in just a few.
Members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat!
This... And LG's got him through here, lines them up, even through the shot, you're nuts! For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's gonna be hopping out for that.
Got the Mandelbrick. Find it. Stop them. Mandelbrick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first Mandelbrick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, I'm not going to do very much. When you get barrel stuff, Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
That
Knock them off their feet.
So much damage, and there it is.
Mandelbrick Addiction living up to their name, netting themselves the first of potentially more to come here in the day. Would finish today should they be able to get themselves one more. Great start for them as we now get ready for Tide Prison coming up in just a few. And with Mandelbrick Addiction now sat up in first place, with the Mandelbrick being the caveat, because look at their squad points so far here, Vivid. Only 5.
Yep, but it does not matter how many squad points they have, Toby. We know how these leaderboards work. If you have a Mandelbrick, man, that is the most valuable thing you can possibly have. Let's go ahead and take a look at how some of our other teams are doing there. We did see FLOORPOV now on a total of 11 squad points, so they're doing quite well in that category. But the Mandelbrick round, it wasn't necessarily too crazy, centered around the Mandelbrick itself. We did have a bunch of fights kind of going down. That being said, let's go ahead and take a quick break from those Mandelbrick rounds. Let's go ahead and jump over to Tide Prison as we do go ahead and take a look at the operators left available for all of our teams. And this is where we will probably see some of the Noxes start to come into play, some of the hack walls. We've actually seen some teams, I've seen it actually happen multiple times, bring in duo or double Alluru onto the map of Tide Prison. So we are going to be seeing the most popular operators, of course, be Nox and Hacklaw, but do not be surprised if we see some what feels like nuanced comps here on Tide Prison.
We'll see. We'll see what's going to be the case. Also, I mean, at least for the Tide Prisons that I've had the pleasure of casting, it's kind of ironic the fact that you bring players onto the map that is the most condensed, but it's also usually the map that ends up with the least amount of fighting, because everything is narrow corridors or catwalks you don't want to be walking out on, or like really, really weird alleyways. So very interesting to see how this one is going to go down. I feel like in the last one that we had yesterday, the one that got the most eliminations was AI. So we'll see if that's going to be the case today or not as we get over and ready for Tide Prison once more.
Yeah, taking a look at some of the spawns here again. We kind of talked about it yesterday. You kind of don't want to get tier 1 spawns when we jump into these economy rounds, as we call them, because jumping over to Space City, if you're one of the teams that get the tier 1 spawn here on Tide Prison, you basically can't get a tier 1 spawn onto that Space City, onto that first round of those mana bricks on Space City specifically. So we'll have to keep a close eye on which one of our teams do actually get which spawns as we do jump over here into Tide Prison. I'm expecting a little bit of a slower game. I feel like so far our teams have done a great job of keeping themselves into the action, constantly trying to make something happen. But Tide Prison is just a map that doesn't necessarily call for that right off the get-go. Plenty of opportunity for our teams to go ahead and just loot up, secure some of those reds, and boost their economy before we jump into the bulk of the competition.
Exactly. Well, here we are getting ready for this one to go down. Everyone on the server, Yorosei fielding the Hacklaw, getting out and early, and we'll see what they end up finding. Again, the run for Reds is on here as they start sprinting upstairs.
Actually, our two teams getting the tier 1 spawns here. It's going to be FPOV and Team LFS. Typically, what this makes happen is this little bit of a 3v3 over towards the Warden's office, but LFS are going to go ahead and beat out the likes of FPOV over to all of this loot. I'm trying to get a quick glimpse here at some of our teams and some of their operators, and sure enough, MBA, they did it yesterday, they're doing it again today. Double Alluru and Raptor is going to be their comp of choice here. I'm seeing still a couple of teams bring in those double Noxes, like Team Gotaga. They've opted for that. But we've actually got pretty unique comps across the board here, and pretty standard gear, right? I mean, purple armor and purple ammo.
No one daring to invest too much into it. Although, I don't know if it's just the graphics, but opting to go in without any bullets. That's not something you see too often. I do think that's just a graphic, though.
Yeah, even here, just trying to fend off some of the members of FPOV. Hey, listen, this is our loot, man. Stay away.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious to see what LFS does here, because the previous game where they had a chance to third party a couple of different moments, they were playing it very passive. And that's considering the fact that Stickinson has some of the most damage done in the tournament so far. They were playing that previous Brakkesh incredibly passive to an extent where they actually ended up getting eliminated because of it, because they're just getting kind of smothered from all angles. Hoping to see them get a little more active. Now we see the ult come out early on to try and secure what's up ahead of them. It was just very surprising to me that they were as passive as they were in Brakkesh.
Oh, if that's actually happened to go ahead and rotate away from that warden's office. I'm not sure if they actually picked up all of the loot that was actually in there. Obviously, surely they opened like the safe, but the key card room probably still available over there. But I think they started to feel the pressure. Some of the rotates coming in from some of our other teams as well. FPOV trying to make something happen here. They didn't make anything happen over towards Warden, so they're opting to go ahead and go towards some of the other opportunities that can be found around the map. And our teams are pretty spread out right now. I mean, it does look a little deceptive on the map, right? It looks like FPOV and Team Dark Entities are pretty close to one another. And I mean, they are on the map itself, but in terms of the area on Tide Prison, they're quite far away. And so kind of all of our teams, they're kind of just respecting the area that they have been able to feel comfortable around. Pretty much the meta here on Tide Prison is to just wait for your recon operator, whoever it may be. Like, obviously, some of our teams opted to bring in Raptor, Hacklaw, Morris. Those are pretty much the three operators that are going to be used on Tide Prison to get the information necessary. But you kind of just wait for those ultimates to kind of come up. You go ahead and send them. If you don't get any scans in front of you, then you're like, okay, this area is clear. And then you go ahead and try to loot that area up. That's pretty much what happens.
Yep.
For the entirety of like what feels like probably like the first 10 minutes of Tide Prison.
Yeah, exactly. Very separate maneuvering going on here between the different teams as they try to get looted up as best as they can. Fnatic looking down towards Mandelbrick Addiction here yet again. They were sat next to each other in that previous game. As we get more looting going, no big finds in the booth there.
I mean, unless I like blinked and missed it, have we seen a single red be found?
Not this one. Not so
My
far.
goodness. All right, here we go. Save us here as we go ahead and swipe one of these level 3 swipes right here. Stick it in. It's all up to you, my man. This safe.
Give it to us.
It's going to make or break Tide Prison here. Oh, 2x3. There it is. IFV, man. If we're going to pull a red, it's got to be a good one, and a good one indeed. 1.3 million there. Finally, the first red is picked up.
Does that then change anything for LFS? Again, a very defensive positioning in the previous game. This time around, they haven't really gone overly aggressive either, but now with some good money in the back and in the safe box, more importantly, maybe they go out and play a bit more ballsy, knowing that they've already got a pretty decent portion of what you could expect to find on a air supply round.
I think LFS will just try to play their own game. They'll be happy with the loot they've been able to pretty much guarantee. I mean, a 2x3 and the 3x3, that's going to be safe no matter what.
Okay,
it does make you feel a little bit more confident, but you don't want to just run it down mid.
In the spirit of the current cool collab that Delta Force is doing with Rainbow Six, hear me out here. Tide Prison exclusively destructible terrain. So that, as you were saying before, like if they're set on a floor above and below each other, you can just break the floor and jump down. What do you say? Yes or no? Only on Tide Prison.
Listen, you're trying to make something happen on Tide Prison. I get what you're doing here. But we got to keep the integrity of the game alive, man. If you're able to just bust through walls, we're playing a different game.
Only on Tide Prison. I'm sure Chad is going to be with me on this one.
Listen, Tide Prison is great at finding the action. You just got to wait a little bit, right? You got to let it marinate a little bit.
Fair enough,
just a patient.
We'll see if the action will be found as Bind sat here, trying to isolate the angle again. These corridors very, very dangerous to traverse. Long lines of sight if anyone trying to make the run on the one. Then you have the catwalks, the bridge is out in the open where you're exposed from multiple angles. Bind a few shots in, but Mandelbrick Addiction able to get away safely.
Very common fight here.
Oh, yeah.
Between the cells and that little bit of a holding area just across the way as Yersei is trying to hold the angle here. You can see the mortar assault has actually been activated. He's trying to not make any noise to go ahead and prevent the ping from coming out in a specific location. But we're kind of, seeing exactly what we kind of expected. A little bit of a standstill here. By the way, I think I'm going to go ahead and quickly note this. Top of the screen, FPOV actually failed the contract. So unfortunately, none of our teams are going to be able to go ahead and walk away with that room of loot, that room of whether or not it was going to hold the M82 or I guess we'll never know. But the room that would have actually held that sniper rifle on the map of Tide Prison. That being said, the airdrop on the outskirts of the map, on the outside, is 5 seconds until that kind of makes itself known. It looks like LFS are potentially kind of playing around that because their position is definitely set up for the one that spawns just to the west of the extract, but instead it goes all the way over to the east of that warden's office. They can still kind of make their way over there. That being said, Evan's got to be careful, man. The prison guard is finding the better of him.
That's what I mean. Literally similar to yesterday. It was the AI that did all the damage really in that type prison round. Same thing to be said here. First knock comes through. It's the prison guard that finds him.
And now I think Stickinson is going to make his way back over to that airdrop. Definitely going to be worth it here, but the Jam is going to try to make something happen. He knows Yvellier is kind of stuck in the corner. A great play on the back of him, landing that Nox disc, and he's going to tuck himself away in this little bit of a room. He's very lucky, by the way. These flames are just barely not reaching him, and a great play. Fnatic, the Jam there. A little tired of waiting in the wings, decides to make a play of his own, and it works out perfectly. And now Fnatic have the opportunity to go ahead and win out this 3v2 against NBA.
Yeah, great execution on that one. Again, just a sentiment. This story saying Rapel in the interview, who picked up Jam hoping it could work out well. When you have a player that can go out and individually make plays like that, you know you did something good in signing him. So able to get the first one down. I don't think Mandelbrick Addiction are going to be able to come pick it up. Maybe they move him themselves to go get some of the loot that he might have possessed. As Raidbull going to be the one to run on forward. Maybe bait some utility to come through. Just get the airdrop finally landing over on that eastern side.
Nobody in early proximity, but I'm sure we'll see this one picked up. Sure enough, at some point. Trying to get a read on what our teams are kind of playing for around the map just by taking a look at their positions. Looks like Team Gotaga is creeping their way over towards the cells area. They currently have control of what seems like that backpack extract area. And we might have a little bit of an awkward fight. These fights that happen when you're swimming can be so weird. Because if you're underwater, you can't actually shoot your gun. You can use some utility, though. Some of the shots are actually landing right now for the likes of Full Rate. He almost finds the knock there into almost two members, actually. But Stickinson, Fleric makes a little bit of a mistake here. He goes ahead and peeks his head up out of the water. And the shark is probably going to go ahead and help him secure the kill here, potentially.
Well, able to find him. I was gonna say whether they knew that Stiggerson was out on that island or not. That's quite the case. Follery gotta watch out. There's a shark headed for him as he does get the knock and flush on the other. Great plays coming through here for Dark Enters. He says Maxa now takes the fight to Fnatic. Bane gonna be the first one gone down.
I think Team Gotaga finally made their approach over there. Remember, they were kind of crouching towards that area, so a little bit of a silent play worked from him. Ushbishka, by the way, is off in the corner over there. Can Stickinson from the helicopter pad actually not see him? I think Ushbishka just left that position anyway, so not going to end up mattering. But yeah, Team Gotaga now have joined the action here. They're trying to make something happen. And Nox right there finds Raid Bull trying to keep around, and now it's left up to the Jam. This is the last remaining member of Team Fnatic trying to make something happen. He pops the Nox ult, but I think his position is all too bad here to make something happen. That being said, the shots are good enough as Vlad goes down, unfortunately, and Nox is trying to prevent the Jam from finding the knock right here, but he did enough damage onto Vlad to make something happen. And now Naxa is under heavy pressure, but the pressure does not get to him as the shots do land. Maxa and Team Gotaga now have a total of 3 kills and a little bit of a 2v2 against NBA.
Nice try there. Jam able to find the first one, but couldn't make more of it. Tough loss for them. Out early here. I say out early. So on just over 6 minutes left in this game, but out they go. First team eliminated as FLOORPOV now make their way on up here. They know that they have Gotaga wounded, so trying to see if they can come up and pick up the scraps off of this fight.
Yeah, Team Gotaga potentially getting a taste of their own medicine here as the team kind of approaches from the same exact side. They're trying to go ahead and sneak their way over to pick up some easy kills here. Nox, by the way, hits some shots and lands the disc right there. Some great individual effort from Nox. our kill leader throughout the tournament so far. He does a lot of damage right there, but I don't think he knows that there's 2 members actually contesting him right there. He runs in with a sliver of HP to try to make something happen. He doesn't get punished for it, but you're saying Blake now on the back foot as Blake needs an opportunity to go ahead and reset.
And look at Blake's health bar was all the way down to 1. So it could have easily been good for 2 knocks on that one. And then with the third guy on the backside, could have potentially made a run for him as well, as Dickinson does get himself some valuable loot early on, just under 400k in that one. He's also the one that already had the IFV model, so good pickups here for Living for Success. I mean, a team that's, again, being very passive in their approach, not fight heavy, but they do know how to find themselves some good loot and get rewarded in that regard. 5 mil already in the bag.
Unfortunately for him, though, all those golds were 2x3. They were huge, so
yeah,
they're not going to be able to kind of tuck those away in those 3x3 safe boxes, but they are kind of near that extract, so potentially just taking that one will go ahead and secure some of those golds here. But you can see it. We've got this 3-way fight kind of happening. NBA are still on the Gotaga, and the double knocks are still here, and then FPOV. All 3 of these teams, by the way, are a duo. So this is kind of where the bulk of the action is happening, and we still do have that fight that's happening on the outside. I mean, they're not necessarily fighting right now, but they still are in close proximity of one another as we're taking a look at it now. Dark Entities left down to just a duo. But Team LFS, they're not going to be interested in fighting at all. They're just trying to go ahead and extract safely with all of that loot that they were able to pick up.
Look at this. You have FLOORPOV feeding all the info across to his teammates sat down below, and then you have Ushpishka currently swimming, trying to make his way around the backside and spot the best Dickinson. He's trying to bait the shark away here. I'm not sure what's happening, but he's definitely been hunted by it as he now makes his way off the helipad, trying to maybe set up a bit more of an off angle for his teammates to try and play around, but he's been caught on the backside. Remember, he's the one that's currently carrying the bulk of the loot from LFS, so they do not want to lose him here.
I wonder if he had the opportunity to kind of drop any of that over to some of his teammates. That being said, a single minute until this extract does go ahead and go off. It looks like FPOV, by the way, Blake was able to pick up Obsessed, so they've kind of returned to a 3-man roster over there in that cells area where the bulk of the fighting is kind of happening. And yeah, the question now remains, what's the game plan here for Dickinson? Because he is all the way off in the distance, potentially kind of just playing an angle to hopefully prevent an approach from some of the members, but I feel like Ushpishka is already in a position to kind of apply a lot of pressure. That being said, Even works around the angles, and he finds the one necessary to take out Ushpishka. LFS are going to be healthy and alive, and they might be able to go ahead and loot Ushpishka's body before this extract goes off, because Even is actually doing just that, trying to pick up some of the stuff that he possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, follow rate, solo play, lift alive, not a whole lot he can do to really deny this from happening. The extract will come through. Does Dickinson get to them in time? Just 3 seconds left. Opts to stay on the backside of it, so he won't be joining them. A bit surprised that he maybe didn't go for the last second swim across, but nope, it's just going to be the two leaving here. And with him staying, you'd have to imagine that, as you said before, Vivid, he has given over a lot of the valuables that he was carrying outside, of course, the IFV in his safe box.
All right, going for the res here to get Ushpishka back up on his feet, which is still worth it because these guys can still kind of run towards some of the fights that are happening around the map and potentially pick up some kills, which is probably going to be the same exact game plan for Dickinson. But we still do have 3 total teams here in the mix. Again, NBA, they've been a duo for a while now, as have Team Gotaga, but FPOV, they fully reset. They've got 3 members alive, but even though you got the numbers advantage against 2 of these teams, actually making something out of that advantage is going to be super difficult, especially when you take a look at the positioning that all of these players are kind of playing. They're all just waiting in tow for a mistake from anybody.
I feel like Gotaga, FLOORPOV, and Mandelbrick Addiction have moved a combined 10 meters over the course of the last 10 minutes. It's been holding angles, just like this, for literally 2/3 of this map. But that's also, again, that's what Tide Prison does. It rewards the teams that dare go out and make things happen when they can make things happen, but also rewards the teams that play these passive positions, just waiting things out as we get the Heckler ult enabled early on. Just a minute and a half left of this round. They know that they have one just on the inside. Could they potentially lob some util and take him down at a distance? We'll see. That's a good util there.
Oh, Stickinson has actually tried to go ahead and prevent this rotate from coming in. He doesn't drop down for some of the shots. He tries to find the utility damage with the trap, but unfortunately it does not get activated right there. Fall rate is still pretty low right here. He goes for the same exact play once more. Fall rate's going to be very, very low now. He's trying to go ahead and pull off some of the heals, but Stickinson finally got the confidence necessary to go ahead and just drop down, take the gunfight. He's going to win that one out for the likes of LFS. So great work there. 45 seconds remaining. Let's see if some of the other teams can kind of find some kills like that.
Yeah, nice little solo cleanup come through from Stickinson again. I mean, Nox still kind of trapped in this cell, but not being pushed so far. He's going to sit tight in this position. Jersey now, finally they make the run on forward, but Nox is there, finds the first. The 2-for-1 trade does work out, though. Obsess able to take him down in the end of it, and that's going to be Gotaga eliminated in the back end of it.
Yeah, unfortunately for Team Gotaga, if they were able to get that full kill right there, that would have netted them just one more. But if that player is able to stay alive until the end of the game, I don't think they're going to go ahead and get kill credit for that one. Now Team NBA are trying to make something happen again. This is a 2v2, but Skydie's under heavy fire right now. He doesn't land any return shots onto Obsess. Obsess lands the disc. I think it's going to be enough, and sure enough it is. So now Buldo is going to be down to just a solo, but unfortunately he makes nothing happen. The match timer runs out, and Tide Prison goes the way that we kind of expected. All of our teams respecting the area that all of the other teams have control of. They just loot what is theirs. They pick up some reds here and there. Actually, I shouldn't say reds. I think we saw a single red pick up of the entirety of Tide Prison. But we did eventually see some of those kills kind of come in. It took a while to get there, Toby, but eventually the action happened.
Eventually it did indeed. Even the Sharks got active. The Prison Guards got themselves a knock as well in that round. Tide Prison, a bit of a quiet endeavor, but a very tactical one as these players try to maximize everything, getting into the marathon of Space City rounds we've got coming up. Gotaga, they might have gotten eliminated in the end of it, but they come out as the best team of round 3. 5 kills, not so much gained in terms of assets, but those 5 kills, 1,300 almost damage done. It's going to net them a top spot.
Yep, great work from then here. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it all individually broke down. I mean, yeah, Team Gotaga, they might have walked away with the most amount of kills there with 5, but LFS definitely won in terms of the economy. 5.3 million in assets. A lot of that on the back foot of Even and Imperator being able to extract. And then on the back foot of that, we saw Stickinson with 1.3 million. Even though he failed the extract, he had that IFV in his 3x3 safe box there. So just so much value kind of found for the likes of LFS there. Incredible work. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the individual performances here. No surprise, we see the man himself towards the top of this one. Nox able to pick up 3 kills there. Stickinson and Obsessed with 2 apiece as well.
Yeah, nice approach, Stickinson there. I guess I didn't give him the credit that he deserved, because I really like the approach. Playing a support class coming into that fight in the end of it, but able to do the double trap down below, then jump down and take him out. Smart little 1v1 play coming through from him versus fall rate. 800 damage for Nox, so that is huge.
He's also going to be finding some assists as well. I mean, man, this guy just does it all. As Stickinson, we've seen him up here in the top 3 multiple times, but no surprise to kind of see Maxa joining in on the mix as well. And I feel like we know exactly how these top asset earners are going to look. And yep, LFS across the board kind of owning the top 3 spots here with their entire squad just walking away with so much value.
And question now becomes then, because we saw the first Mandelbrick round on that previous one. LFS, I mean, despite coming into it with a pretty decent loadout, not really opting to engage in the Mandelbrick fight at all. As a matter of fact, not really wanting to engage in any fight. Maybe now that they got off with so much value in the previous one and so much to work with moving forward, we'll see them be that much more aggressive coming into the first Space City. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how this one works out. We do know there's a couple of teams on the server with a couple of those high value sniper rifles that they could potentially kind of bring in, but we know one team has that advantage as it currently stands. Team NBA with a single mana brick secured going into all of these mana brick rounds. I'm excited to kind of see how it all pans out. But before we go ahead and jump into all of that action, we got to give our players just a little bit of time to gear up and get ready. So we're going to go to just a short break. We'll be back.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that. It's an absolute sweep. And you just got him here.
Welcome back to Delta Force Pro Tips. In extraction shooters, the match isn't always won when you get the kills. Sometimes it's won when you cross the threshold into the extraction zone. Today, we're breaking down a chaotic multi-team scramble from week 2 of the EMEA Open Qualifiers on Zero Dam. And joining me on the couch is a player who lived through this exact madness. Yersai, welcome.
Hi, I'm Yersai. I'm the IGL for team FLOORPOV. My role is to lead our team to strategies and make calls during matches, and I'll also keep everyone coordinated, especially under chaotic moments like you're going to see.
So this highlights an incredible nuance in Delta Force competitive play. When you're executing a desperate drop down through event like number 1 did there, knowing the enemy has crossfire established, is the goal for them to try and win the aim duel, or are you literally just trying to aim your bodies through into that extraction zone?
I think in our POV, because we were holding the event, our goal was just to try to deny them to get out of the game. For us, it's obviously better for us if they don't extract, and we are the only team that gets out from the elevator. So our goal was just to try to deny them to get out.
Now let's flip it to FLOORPOV's perspective. You held that platform beautifully with deep defensive utility. When you're anchoring an extract like that and you hear players crawling in the vents above you, how do you layer your crossfire to ensure you get full flushes before they hit the extraction threshold? Or is it really just about your survival there?
I think what is most important for us in that moment is basically that we survive, that we don't lose anyone. So we kind of knew that there were no teams coming behind us, so we could play deep on the extract like we did. So our goal was just try to get one or two kills like we did, and just try to survive ourselves. That was the most important part.
So that clip there is from match 1 of that event. No Mandelbrick in the game, no Mandelbricks at all for anyone so far. What's your team's main focus going into a match like that? Are you trying to build value to put towards future rounds? Are you trying to get maximum points, or just warming up and getting a feel for the opponent teams maybe?
I think our main objective usually on Zero Dam is to try to secure ourselves some loot. I'm pretty sure like in this game that we played for Extract, I think we killed 1 team or got 2 kills, I think, from another team. And we also got the airdrop, if I don't remember correctly. I think we did. So our goal for there was just get out with the gold gear so we could have a strong Brakkesh, strong second round with gold gear and have a gear advantage.
So it probably seems odd to a lot of non-comp players how often we see almost no one extracting from around in these events. Could you maybe just explain quickly for our viewers why extracting isn't always the priority of these games, even in these non-Mandelbrick ones like we've just seen?
Yeah, I think the main objective is for every team is because you have a reward for each time you get a kill, right? So you get 800,000 for each kill. I think that's like the main objective. As soon as you also get 1 point for each kill, so that matters more than like loot value, because loot value is, I think it's 2 million for 1 point right now. So most teams would rather just get the kills and get the points secured rather than having an extract, because that value, like the points you get from value, they can go up and down throughout the whole tournament match, but the kill points always stays there. So that will always be like goal number 1.
A brilliant display of mechanical awareness from both sides under ultimate pressure. Secure your exits and maximize your crawl space, operators. Thank you for the insight, Yersai, and we'll see you next time on Pro Tips.
Enemy got the Mandelbrick. Find it. Stop them. Mandelbrick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around comes around.
I'm not going to do very much. Though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Down, there it is.
air supply rounds are out of the way as we now go in for a potential quadruple space city, or make it a triple at that at least, as we get going with Mandelbricks galore for the rest of the day. Mandelbrick Addiction already up with one, but we'll see who's going to be able to net themselves the second one. Or will it be Mandelbrick Addiction to end it all here in Game 4? Only time will tell.
Let's go ahead and take a look at how Tide Prison went for some of our teams and where they currently stand on the leaderboard for the day. I mean, yeah, Mandelbrick Addiction, they might have the least amount of squad points, but again, that Mandelbrick in their possession is keeping them towards the top of the leaderboard. Team Gotaga have made a great effort to boost themselves up to that number 2 spot with 16 total squad points of their own. FLOORPOV not too far behind with 14. I mean, for that matter, all of our teams kind of without a Mandelbrick are kind of evenly spread. I mean, a spread of just 7 points is nothing that any of our teams cannot overcome. But
oh yeah,
listen, man, I hate to be that guy here, Toby, but Fnatic, they've got to start making something happen. We talked about their performance, and for the like of that, actually, Team FLOORPOV are in a similar situation. FLOORPOV and Fnatic are the 2 teams that currently sit 11th and 12th place on the overall group stage leaderboards. They are currently in those relegation spots. These guys got to start to make a surgence up the leaderboard if they want to start to pick up more of those points.
I mean, we heard it from Alliance in the interview with Lynx yesterday after they came out victorious on day 1 of the week, saying, because they too had a pretty forgetful first week of play, they literally just said, what did you different? Well, we started playing more aggressive. Like, they know what they're capable of. They started to actually go out there to make moves and made big things happen. Maybe, just maybe, Fnatic needs a guy in the booth, in the Discord channel, wherever they're communicating with one another, to go, guys, come on, man. We made it to the Rise series. We can do this. Just go out and make an aggressive play happen. Maybe that's going to be it, because there's still been space, I feel like, for teams to go out and make that happen. A lot of teams have been very defensive, as is the usual in Delta Force. Whenever you have that one team that actually dares to go aggressive, it can catch quite a few people off guard.
Tier 1 spawns being available for Mandelbrick Addiction. As a quick reminder, they could end the competition here. If they're able to go ahead and decode that Mandelbrick, we will stop playing for the day. We'll give the win to EMEA and kind of break down the leaderboard and how it stands. Of course, it's possible for a couple of our other teams to also pick up that tier 1 spawn, so it'll be interesting to kind of see how that one breaks down.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. So we're getting ready for this next one. There's one more break giveaway coming up. A redeemable code for 1,000 Delta tickets that will appear on your screen right here. Make sure to get it as fast as you can if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, anything other likes, you can get it on and on that one too. There's only 15 redemptions, so make sure to get it as quickly as you can.
Yeah, we'd love an opportunity here, but guys, listen, I'm a little bit busy. I'm about to cast over our first space city of the day here in game number 4, and take a look at this. EMEA, a full investment from these guys. You can see it, gold armor in tow. And that being said, it was a wise decision from them, because they did also get this tier 1 spawn that kind of allows them to jump directly across employee passage number 2 and make their way to the center of the map. But it will not be uncontested. We're seeing the team of Dark Entities also make their way across that central command bridge. Yep. They're also going to be joining the fray here in the center of the map. And it looks like Team LFS might potentially also be one of the first 3 teams here to the center.
One thing that's actually kind of interesting in all of this is that Gotaga, our current first place team in the overall standings, like in the league as a whole, they got themselves one of the tier 1 spawns in the Westgate, and usually you'd see the team spawning there just instantly beeline for the center island as well. But they actually opted to sit back and wait this one out for a bit. They probably figured that FLOORPOV were going to make an aggressive play towards them, so they waited things out and are only now joining the run towards the Mandelbrick.
A very, very all-in approach here from the likes of EMEA. I mean, Boldo and Yvellier are in a very treacherous location. And by the way, look at that Molotov that just landed onto Fulright's head. That was his own teammate that sent that one kind of right into the back of him right there. But EMEA, they're trying to make something happen. It's on the back foot of the Toxic Cult. They're going to be throwing that one down, and it delays just enough. Those shots, by the way, even though there's a smoke on the ground, they're very easy to land, because you're in a set animation when you pick up the mana break. For the likes of Yvellier to go ahead and pick that one up and just run away without taking enough damage to go down from the likes of Dark Entities is an incredible feat. And now they have so much control. As a quick reminder, These guys already have a Mandelbrick captured.
Yep.
They could win the whole day here if they're able to go ahead and secure this one.
Also interesting to note the fact that we only have one team with a Tempest so far. It's only
Oh my gosh.
It's only Gotaga that are actually playing Tempest into this one. I guess everyone is figuring, well, no way Mandelbrick Addiction is going to do it twice in a row, right? Well, we're all a little concerned given the fact they have the Mandelbrick already. But imagine a world where we end the day with 4 teams having not used a Tempest once. That would be absurd, because if Mandelbrick Addiction goes in and gets the plank down, which they probably will, usually you use your Tempests to go in and steal. Like, you go in, you steal, you instantly get yourself out of there with the ropes. It's only gonna be Gotaga that can actually go in and make that strategy happen now.
We'll have to see how this one plans out, but NBA kind of taking a similar approach to pretty much how we have seen them do this every single time they've been able to pick up the initial mana brick. They don't just run for a decoding station. They always take their time before they go ahead and run at any of these stations. And it's very wise, because there are teams playing around every single one of the potential decoding stations around the map. They're pretty much just saying, hey, listen, we're just going to deny the team that has the mana brick from access to the decoding station. So even if NBA wanted to right now, they couldn't safely go ahead and approach any single one of the decoding stations, unfortunately for them. Now that we have a little bit of time where we're going to be probably in a stalemate for quite some time, I do want to go ahead and note, I mention this every single time, that only one team has a mana brick captured. Listen, they can, of course, end the competition early if they're able to pick up a second one. We all know that rule. But there's also kind of this like pseudo way for them to win, because if they deny the mana brick from being captured from any of our other teams, like if they just are able to hold this every single game and nobody captures it, then they'll win. They'll have a mana brick and nobody else will have one. So a little bit of a way for them to kind of play around if they want to go ahead and choose to do something like that.
We'll see if that's going to be the case or not. Mandelbrick Addiction still got it in hand. Looks like they're opting to go for the, I call it the glass plant or the VIP room. Such a hard place to push into if you get the plant down, which it does look like they're going to go for. You go downstairs here and you get the plant in the very corner, and then you set yourself up in the keycard room and wait things out there. It's so hard to push. And especially, I mean, again, gotta say, when you don't have teams with a Tempest outside of one, it makes it very hard for teams to try and make a move on it. But have yet to put down the Mandelbrick on the decoding station.
Let's go ahead and take a look at how some of our other teams are doing. I mean, Team Fnatic here, they're very spread apart. I mean, we've got one of their members right there. We just tuned in with a Bane. He's off over in that Sands area. I mean, Raid Bull is all the way to the south of Assembly Room. So if anything kind of happens to any one of their members here, I mean, backup will be very far away. So they've got to play very carefully. All of our other teams outside of FPOV over in that central command building appear to be just content with having a building to their own. We're seeing Team Gotaga, they're in Buoyancy, Dark Entities, Centrifuge, LFS. They've got 2 members in Black Chamber, which of course where that decoding station is, but their third is actually over towards that bridge in Stickinson. And then we know that Team NBA, they're not directly in the building of test range, but they are all around it. And only 55 seconds, by the way, before this mana brick gets reset. As a quick note, a quick reminder to everybody at home of the rule sets. If a team picks up the mana brick and does not put it in a decoding station for 5 minutes, that mana brick gets reset. It gets stolen from their inventory and it goes back to that initial spawn point, kind of giving all of our other teams an opportunity to pick it back up once more.
Okay, Vivid. Question. Should there be a penalty in any way, shape, or form for picking up the Mandelbrick and not being able, or deciding not to, get it into a decoding station in time?
No, because I think this is a winning strategy in its own right. Again, NBA are just playing to deny the mana brick from all the other teams.
Makes sense.
Because this is like a winning strategy for them right now. If they're the only team with the mana brick at the end of Game 7, they win.
True.
And I mean, it's not two mana bricks. It's not the only way to go ahead and end the competition effectively. So
that is true.
It'll be hard for them to employ that strategy over the course of all of these games remaining, but so far in game number 4, it looks like that's what they're playing for.
Seems like Follow Rate is well ready to pick it up as soon as it spawns, and indeed he does get brought down to just over half health. There's some utility left on forward, but will get healed on up and will probably make a dash out of this area very shortly. There you go, make a run for it now.
Incredible that nobody was interested in denying that, or maybe they just kind of weren't thinking about that exact timer when that mana brick was actually going to go ahead and reset. But that being said, Dark Entities with full rate picking this one up, they already have control of a decoding station, so it's not going to be a similar situation to the likes of NBA, right? They kind of didn't have control of a decoding station, so they couldn't just run over to one and put it in. The Dark Entities, they've got one in close proximity, and here we go, folks. The first time on Space City where the mana brick is going to start to be decoded, and we're going to have all-out war here very, very soon.
Yep, same position we saw it be planted yesterday in the round that Mandelbrick Addiction ended up winning, so maybe that's a foreshadowing of us finishing the day in match 4. We'll see if that's going to be the case or not as we get to this one underway. Still plenty of time left for these teams to decide what they want to do, and also going to be interesting to see if all teams are going to take part in this potential, or well, almost guaranteed Mandelbrick fight we'll see coming up, or if, like yesterday, teams are just like, nah, no way it's Mandelbrick Addiction that's on it, right? We'll see. We'll see if they play a little more safe than cautious this time around, as we get a nice little 1.3 mil pickup there for Stigginson again. It's LFS that are getting all the big pickups today.
Super jealous. I actually mentioned this last week. I have yet to find the vacuum cleaner in efforts of playing Delta Force, so very, very jealous of that one. That one's got an empty space in my collection room, so a little bit jealous myself. That being said, let's go ahead and turn our focus into what's kind of happening here. What's going to be the defensive approach for the likes of Dark Entities. And this type of strategy, by the way, you can see they're kind of spread thin. They're opting to try to defend every single one of the angles that any which team could kind of make their approach towards this decoding station. There's so many ways to actually make your way, whether it be the ramp, whether it be through middle, whether it be through the bottom of a centrifuge. Like, there's just so many ways, and to kind of defend all of them, you have to send just one single member of your team. And when you do that, it's easy for that single member to kind of get caught out sometimes. So keep a close eye on whether or not they're able to kind of stay healthy and stay afoot.
I do wonder now, I mean, obviously Mandelbrick know that they cannot lose the game in this game, given the fact that they got the first one. So even if they don't go to try and contest the Mandelbrick in this round, they will still be guaranteed to get to play at least one more. Curious though, with that in mind, if they are going to be trying to contest the Mandelbrick or not. You can see Fnatic making their way very close towards him, just outside the test range. They're kind of following the wall alongside there, with Bulbo just on the other side.
Team Gotaga are trying to make something happen here. Again, it's very difficult because you can see the position that Fnatic has. He's behind this little bit of a bulletproof glass, so he can kind of peek his head up at any given moment and kind of pre-fire some of the angles. He tries to go ahead and do it, but Vlad and the back foot of the disarm actually landing right there is going to force Fnatic off of the angle. Okay, so Team Gotaga, they've gained a little bit of space, but still a lot of work to be done, as Maxa is actually just kind of running it down right now. He's trying to make something happen, but unfortunately for him, Uzbishka is going to be stopping his efforts early. But no need to worry if you're a Team Gotaga fan, because that was just simply the Tempest ult activated for the likes of Team Gotaga. But now, take a look at this. LFS are trying to make something happen on a different approach here. They're trying to make something happen on the ramp.
And this is where it gets dangerous for Dark Entity, because they're using a lot of utility and trying to hold them off. But every time a team then runs back and a new team comes in to take over, they're coming in with all their util available, where Dark Entity still's got their on cooldown. So, fortunately for them, a bit of a stalemate now as we go down to 35 seconds. The previous Mandelbrick was practically uncontested, and so far here, no one's opted to run for it yet. We've yet to see a Mandelbrick steal today. So will it be here, or will it not be at all? Mandelbrick Addiction are in the nearby vicinity. They would really, really want to win this in Game 4. 20 seconds.
All of our teams are trying to make something happen, but without those Tempests, we talked about it. Only one team has that Tempest ult. It feels so committal to just run through the center here. And Team Dark Entities, they're they're alive. They're all full HP, and with only 8 seconds remaining, it doesn't look like any of our teams are going to be interested in making a dash for this. That being said, LFS, they do lay down some of the smokes that would provide enough cover, but it's not going to be enough. Team Dark Entities, they have secured the mana brick here in game number 4, and they have done so with all 3 members alive, and they're still finding the kills on the back foot of all the pressure.
I just gotta say, good for you, server, that this was not Mandelbrick Addiction getting that plant down. Because then we would have ended it like we did yesterday. I mean, it's still very baffling to me that no one opts to make the run on forward, especially if you're one of the teams that are sat at the bottom of the leaderboard right now. I mean, looking at you, Fnatic and LFS as well down there with 10 and 12 points respectively.
Only one single player has actually gone down in this match. That's a member of Team LFS, unfortunately, and for Even there. You can see his body kind of laying off in the distance. And these kills are going to start to matter, right, as we start to tie up things in terms of Mandelbrick's captured and or Mandelbrick's not captured. These kills are going to start to mean a lot. And yeah, the efforts from NBA, it's actually very, very important because you can see the live leaderboard on the left side of your screen. Dark Entities, they have more squad points. And the fact that they're tied up in Mandelbrick's now with NBA, the fact that they have more squad points will actually put them ahead of it. So NBA are definitely going to be interested in trying to get as many kills as they possibly can, as are all of our other teams.
Definitely. So here's Gotaga continue the fight on forward. Got Dark Entities eliminated, but hey, I mean, they got what they wanted out of this one. They got themselves the Mandelbrick. They're going to be well pleased with that, even if they do get eliminated. Nox, you'd have to imagine he's going to be good for at least a few more kills in this game. Try to push further forward. And Fnatic here as well, despite not being able to get the Mandelbrick here, still a lot of points on the board in both kills and loot potentially garnered.
These marksman rifles are very, very scary. Gold armor loaded right there. They can do so much damage. But so can an Allure rocket as Skydie kind of eats one to the face right there. It does about 40% of his health, but does a lot of damage to his armor as well. And on the back foot of that, it looks like the Hudson, those spec ops are actually roaming the map. And I think they just kind of flanked Fnatic, unfortunately. So Raid Bull is going to be losing his life to one of those kind of souped up scavs, unfortunately. But on the back foot of Dark Entities and one of the members of Fnatic going down, LFS have actually gotten the full reset here, as Even has been revived.
Yeah, the most annoying thing for Fnatic as well is that Rainbow is actually kind of isolated from the rest of his team. Is holding the backside angle, so now you have I mean, JM forced to make the run down to get him back on his feet, where they could have had a really good opportunity to third party here, but not going to be the case. Dickinson still holding the main door here with Imperator just below, but no peeks come through. It's almost as if, with the Mandelbrick out of the picture, this area of the map isn't all that exciting.
Not a lot of time for some of our teams to kind of make something happen. These 4 minutes go by super, super quick when you are trying to make a play happen against another professional team. But Stickinson walks in. Oh, the information is in. Gotaga, they brought in the and Stickinson is going to be knocked by that one, and Nox kind of jumps into the smoke here. He lands the shots. He jumps into the smoke again and lands some shots with no vision possible. This guy's on an absolute tear. He's hitting every single shot. He's feeling confident, and it looks like Team Gotaga are trying to press the advantage here, but they got to be careful. A flank is coming in. Somebody is kind of finding their way up the ramp. It's going to be Team FPOV trying to join in all the action.
Yeah, get the toxic gold up forward there as well, but they're shutting him down instantly. Vladdy able to get the first one down. I thought he had it dead to rights, but not quite the case. Gotaga continuing to battle their way through this, and FLOORPOV realized now, oh my lord, I thought we had this one for free, but not to be at all. Nox now finds one more as they continue to battle on forward. Finally, other teams joining in. It's fine, able to find one. Jam able to get one down as well, and finally FPOV will be eliminated, and so will no, never mind. Gotaga's still alive with one.
Yeah, Max actually just shot another shot to the last remaining member of FPOV, so I picked up that kill. 8 kills, by the way, for Team Gotaga right now, so they have done an incredible job of picking up kills. Obviously, the investment has been there entirely for them, and I feel like with all of these kills, their economy is going to be big enough to where they could possibly buy an again, but Max is under heavy pressure right now. He's trying to make something happen. Bane is caught out in the center. The Allure roll comes in to block a couple of the shots, and it keeps him alive because he's so low. Maxa trying to jump around a corner, trying to land just a couple of more shots right here. He's begging. He's looking for some help, but sir, you are all alone in a world full of teams. NBA, they're actually a full 3-man roster, but Skydie's kind of alone as the Jam tries to make something happen. He jumps over onto Skydie, and that's going to be Fnatic finding their 3rd kill of the game.
Yeah, Luilo and Buldo were on the flank up around the backside ramp there, but couldn't get there in time. Would have been a perfect opportunity to engage had they struck at the same time, but just a bit too slow on the run-on up, and that will actually allow for Gotaga, for Maxis to get back inside the building and potentially get the rest on his fallen teammate. I mean, Gotaga, what do they have for this game? 6, 7 kills? I don't sure. I lost count as 4. I mean, that's absolutely insane money they're going to get from this round.
Unfortunately, though, they are eventually going to be getting shut down here. That's going to be Bane finally picking up Max. I feel like Max must have done like 500 damage to just that duo of Fnatic before he kind of went down there. So an incredible individual effort to try to make something happen. And with just a minute remaining, we've got a little bit of a 2v2 now happening between Fnatic And between the last two remaining members of MBA, it's going to be Yveldir and Buldo trying to make something happen. They joined the action just a little bit too late to actually find any kills here, but I'm sure they can kind of still make something happen.
Definitely. Utility lobbed on outside, but when you have the hold of an active, you gotta stand completely still in order to not give away any info. There's a swing around the corner. A few shots missed, but Jubilee will get him in the end of it. Jam does fall, and now it's just one left alive on the side of Fnatic as Bane trying to make a run for it. Of course, I mean, no point trying to extract at this point because the time simply isn't there for you to do so, to try and see if you can claim some points or for these eliminations instead.
Bane's got a great position here to try to make something happen here. He looks for some of the initial shots, only lands one, which isn't going to do much as the armor goes ahead and eats that one for Buldo. So MBA are still going to be full HP, but they're going to be opting to go ahead and just reset. Guys, with only 10 seconds remaining, if you want this kill, you had to keep applying the pressure. Unfortunately for them, Bane is going to stay alive. MBA, I think they only walked away from this entire game with like 2 kills and kind of failing to go ahead and secure a Mandelbrick on the back foot of them investing so much. I mean, we saw a couple of teams bring in gold armor kitted to the teeth. I think they were one of them. So got to go ahead and note it. I feel like that was a little bit of a fail from the likes of NBA. They didn't make a lot happen, but Dark Entities, they did. They captured a Mandelbrick.
Definitely, and they were one of the teams that didn't invest as much as the rest of them coming into it, so heavily rewarded with the game there. But again, I mean, I'm kind of scratching my head off of the, similar to yesterday, the passiveness that we're seeing out of a lot of these teams. Of course, keep in mind, they don't know what's going on in terms of who's control of the brick. So there was a world, theoretically, where we would have ended the day right here and there. But the Dark Entities, of course, the ones out victorious with the brick. So that's not going to be the case. But still, teams are being so hesitant. So I don't want to say scared, because obviously it's a strategic move not to want to be the first ones going in. But also, at the same point, I'm like, but somebody has to be the first. Like, somebody has to take the risk and make sure that we get to see another one.
Yeah, you can see that giant disparity in the kill column there. Team Gotaga, they've got 8 of their own. I mean, Fnatic were close, or I shouldn't say close behind them, but the only team anywhere near them with 4 of their own. But obviously, the highlight goes to Dark Entity, securing that Mandelbrick right there. Only 1 kill necessary to go ahead and secure it. But take a look at our top killers. Who's surprised, Toby, at this point? I mean, this guy just constantly finds the most kills. We see Nox up there, his teammate Maxa also as well, picking up 3 as well. And the damage breakdown is going to be kind of similar as well with Maxa and Nox up here on top 2.
Maxa active with the Orm, doing 700 damage in that round. Incredible endeavor on his part, of course. Them both sat there next to each other, as you said, and then Nox on the top with the assist. I mean, this guy, anything that happens in terms of fracking capabilities, Nox is up there. I mean, don't get me wrong, for some of the bottom teams in the tournaments and the qualifiers gone through as well, Nox is probably worth the value of 2 with how well he's playing in this tournament.
But the top asset earners, again, this is going to be pretty low for the remainder of the day. The only reason it's at 1.4 million for Stickerton is because he was able to go ahead and pick up that vacuum cleaner that he was able to keep safe in his 3x3 safe box. But our MVP, to nobody's surprise, is going to be Nox. I mean, of course, he wasn't a part of the team that was able to pick up the Mandelbrick, but he himself picking up 4 kills there and 700 damage was enough for us to go ahead and say, listen, this guy's just way too good to not give him the MVP.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The only issue for Gotaga right now is, though, yes, they get kills. Yes, it's all good and dandy, but they don't have a Mandelbrick just yet. So we'll see if they can get themselves one as we get back to Space City, and then back to Space City, and then back to Space City. Or maybe Dark Entities or Mandelbrick get themselves the next one, and that will then be the end of the day. Yesterday, we ended the day on match 5. There is a world where that happens here today as well. But we are now going to go to a brief break, and then we'll be back. More Space City up for next.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweep!
This... And LG's got it, though. They're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're a Nox. The last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant Nox. The Elm's gonna be hopping off to that.
trying to stop them. Mandelbrick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament, and they're going to do it!
What goes around, comes around.
I'm not gonna do very much, though. When you get barrel stuff, Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Down, and there it is.
Dark Entities, the second team to net themselves a Mandelbrick. Now 2 teams at match point as we move back to Space City for round number 5. Having said that, though, in terms of kills, in terms of eliminations, it has been a Gotaga show from start to finish. They got 25 squad points with 16 kills already. But still, that only nets them a 3rd place, sat behind EMEA and Dark Entities.
Yeah, Team Gotaga, as soon as they are able, if they are able to throughout the course of the day, if they're able to go ahead and pick up a Mandelbrick, they will join our other 2 teams up there, EMEA and Dark Entities, tying them in the Mandelbrick category, and they will soar up to 1st place. But as it currently stands, without a Mandelbrick captured for them, they will remain in 3rd place and kind of behind all the teams that do have a Mandelbrick captured. That being said, me and Toby, we also kind of called on Fnatic. These guys were sitting in last place going into that game, and quite frankly, coming into the day, they have finally kind of went up the leaderboard just a little bit here. We're seeing them kind of make some progress here. They're in 4th place now with 14 squad points. And listen, I'll go ahead and mention it. This is the thing that we love about this format, is that it is not over until it's over, because any one of these teams could still technically go ahead and secure 2 mana bricks of their own, as we are just jumping into game number 5 with the potential to go all the way to game number 7. Still a lot to play for.
For me personally, game 6, or round 6 I should say, is my favorite, just because of the fact that we're seeing teams fully depleted of their preferred operators. We can see still here, I mean, a lot of Tempest lefts available. 4 teams have yet to use one. Didn't use one in the previous rounds. Didn't use one on Space City before either. So you could only imagine that literally everyone is going to have a Space City, a Tempest in this next Space City. And if not, Vivid, I would be very confused.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about it. Why aren't some of these teams kind of going for the Mandelbrick? Why are they not kind of full sending it? And because that's what it requires, right? A full send is very, very dangerous. Make it some of those plays without the safety, the security of a Tempest ult. It's scary for some of these teams sometimes, which is why we do see these most popular operators, which is why we do see Tempest as the highest picked operator. It was so weird for us to kind of enter that game and only see a singular Tempest. And by the way, that Tempest, the ultimate from Team Gotaga, it wasn't even utilized a single time to make a play towards the Mandelbrick. So basically, Tempest was null and void when it came down to actually securing or trying to steal that Mandelbrick. Yeah, some of our teams might just be a little bit too comfortable with the strategies that they employ around that Tempest slot. Maybe not too much practice kind of being practiced around some of these comps that don't feature a Tempest, but you have to play sometimes without a Tempest.
Yeah, of course you do. A good thing for these teams is that most likely they won't have to, because they didn't opt to use them earlier, so now they will have them for the rest of this one. Gotaga were in that Westgate tier 1 spawn in the previous game, which means they won't be in this round. Funny thing is, though, they didn't really, I feel like, take full advantage of that spawn and making the aggressive play moving in earlier, so we'll see whoever gets it this time around, whether they're going to be making the run for it or not. Mandelbrick Addiction also with a tier 1 spawn in the previous round won't have one here either.
It'll be great to see how this one kind of all pans out. We did see actually basically the 2 teams that had early access to that Mandelbrick in the last game were actually the teams that spawn Employee Passage 2 and Central Command Building. It is noted as a tier 2 spawn, but you can actually make your way to the center of the map very, very quickly. It's just kind of risky sometimes because, you know, running across that bridge or taking the zip line down below it, a lot of information for some of our teams to kind of pick up on and kind of lay down some shots over towards your way. So we'll have to see kind of what ends up happening, where our teams do end up spawning, because it could be the complete difference maker.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Just waiting for this one to get underway. And how big? I mean, obviously we can't really put it into percentage, but looking forward to, I mean, maybe a year or two down the line when we got a really big like a set of data to make this out on. How big of an impact on these Mandelbrick rounds would you say the tier spawns have? Because obviously there's no guarantee just because you sit on tier 1 spawn that you're given the in the end of the day the decoding gone your way. But of course you do get a good chance of making the run on in and deciding which decoding station you're playing on. But how big would you say the advantage is in general in having the good spawns on the Mandelbrick rounds?
Yeah, obviously, I think it actually comes down to what comps you're able to go ahead and instill. Like if you're one of the teams that goes ahead and picks a Tempest, you get one of the tier 1 spawns, you get early access over there towards it, and then you just kind of pop your ultimate to go ahead and pick it up. Then yeah, I think you have a great advantage. Just kind of how you play around it after that. You can go ahead and put the initial Mandelbrick in, but what we've seen a lot of teams do in the past is they go ahead, they put the initial Mandelbrick in, and then they kind of just wait. They kind of just hide. They don't fight for it. They don't defend it. They just let all of the chaos kind of happen on the outside of that, and then later on they kind of rejoin in on the action. So I wouldn't necessarily say it kind of helps you secure the first Mandelbrick. That being said, we did kind of see it in game number 2, where actually in both of our games today, both of the teams that have been the initial ones to pick up the Mandelbrick, or at least put it in a decoding station, they've just won it. There's been no steal. So maybe it is a bigger advantage than we were talking about. But I just like the position that it gives you around the map. If you can kind of play around the position that you actually get from it, not necessarily the Mandelbrick itself, then you do have a great advantage.
Definitely. See Nox here on screen. Bit of a smile on his face. There you go. Despite not having a break, these guys are off to an incredible start. Also, keep in mind, should they only, I say only, get 3rd place, they're still sat very, very comfortably on the leaderboard overall. So, I mean, obviously, they can't expect them to come out and win every chance they get, but they are playing an incredible day of Delta Force so far today.
Yep, without a doubt, and I feel like it's important for us to go ahead and be a little bit transparent here, Toby. One of our players is unfortunately experiencing some technical difficulties, which is why we are currently in a little bit of a wait before we do jump into the game. Normally, we would already actually be into game number 5, but we're trying to make things fair here. We're trying to make sure all 18 of our players have everything set in stone to where it needs to be, so that way they can adequately kind of perform here going into game number 5. And let's go ahead and talk about which one of our teams do actually need to go ahead and perform on the leaderboard. I mean, Team Gotaga, I feel like it's now or never for them to go ahead and pick up a Mandelbrick. I mean, with 2 teams potentially ending the competition early, it would feel like all of their efforts throughout the day. I mean, it's really hard for us to kind of quantify and us to kind of say, yeah, I mean, Team Gotaga, they look like the best team, but they don't have a Mandelbrick. So which team actually does look like the best team? But it would feel so bad for them to kind of end the day with all the kills they've been able to go ahead and employ and how well they've kind of played to end in 3rd place. That would just feel so bad for them, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there would still be a lot of very positive takeaways, even if they do finish 3rd. Again, I mean, as I said before, their position on the leaderboard overall is very, very formidable, so it won't hurt them too much. But also, B, knowing that their squad point capabilities are through the roof compared to the competition they are up against, it's then a lot easier to say, great, we know we've got this on lockdown, let's now shift the focus onto playing a more, let's call it Mandelbrick focused playstyle, you know? I think that transition is going to be easier than the teams that are currently trying to play for the Mandelbricks but failing to get them, and in doing so also struggling heavily to get any squad points on the board. I think it's not that tough a transition for Gotaga in comparison to the rest of the lobby.
Yep, without a doubt. And, you know, obviously we're kind of highlighting Team Gotaga as, again, they have like 25 squad points. It's way more than any of our other teams. But that being said, it doesn't really matter how many squad points you have currently going into this thing, because any one of our teams can still kind of end the competition early. They can still pick up 2 Mandelbricks of their own, which is why, you know, we start to get to these later stages, these early Mandelbricks in games 2, game 4, game 5, I guess you could kind of count. Game 5 is like the middle ground here, the halfway point in terms of the Mandelbrick round specifically. But they start to mean a lot, man. You know what I mean? If you've already picked up a Mandelbrick, you're feeling comfortable, you're already towards the top of the leaderboard. Even if the competition ends, you're pretty much locked into one of those like top 3, top 4 spots.
Definitely. Definitely. And for Dark NCs, they're looking pretty good in that position right now as well.
Unfortunately, though, Toby, one of our players, is still experiencing enough difficulties, technical difficulties, where we're going to need just a little bit more time to go ahead and allot them. So bear with us, everybody at home, as we jump into just a short break, and hopefully we're back into the action soon.
technical issues now solved as we get ourselves ready for the next Space City. Sorry for the delay there, everyone, but it's online, it's electricity, it's technology, sometimes good, sometimes bad. This time around, finally, we're back in the race on Space City for more Mandelbricks galore. Currently with Mandelbrick Addiction and Dark Entities being the owners of one apiece with match point and a chance to close the day here in match 5.
And lucky for us and good for all of our teams, all of our 18 members have been able to rejoin us here in the server after some difficulties were resolved, so we didn't have to go to any extremities to go ahead and get things back underway here. We can take a look at it though. Team Dark Entities are going to be one of the 2 teams getting one of those tier 1 spawns. It looks like Team LFS are going to also be getting one of those tier 1 spawns. Of course, the Westgate spawn, it puts you under a lot of early fire, but they get it done. They get through the Westgate itself, and they make their way towards the center of the map. And Toby, take a look at our operator list, man. We have Tempest across the board. Now, our teams are like, okay, that felt terrible. We couldn't do anything towards that decoding station. Let's just go ahead and bring in the bread and butter of Space City.
Interesting thing, though. I mean, now that we got the Tempest locked in, which, I mean, we were expecting to see, we still have yet to get everyone fielding Lunas. Mandelbrick Addiction, of course, I mean, do they need the same type info when they already got a break of their own? I'm not sure. But I think what it was, Gotaga that played a Luna on Zero Dam?
Yep.
So maybe that's why they're holding back on fielding their last Luna pick for a potential next game.
Yeah, they're actually opting for the Raptor here, so I like that though, right? Change things up a little bit on Space City. Maybe catch some of our other teams off guard with how much information you're able to gather. I think nobody would kind of argue with the fact that a Raptor will able to kind of get you more information than a Luna could, but potentially the trade-off there is that Luna provides a lot more utility when it comes down to, towards those decoding stations. You can kind of just put those shocks onto the station itself or some of those grenades, and they just do so much damage that it kind of prevents some of our teams from stealing it away. But we're hitting that 16-minute mark, which means that the Tempest ults are going to be active and online, and right away, as soon as they are available, Even is going to be jumping through the stinger smoke that is laid down by his teammate. He's trying to lay down some of these suppressive disarms right here, trying to wait before he jumps onto the decoding station, but he started to feel the pressure right there. He felt like his time had ran out, and he goes ahead and takes that ult back. Obsessed was also going to be jumping on the Mandelbrick right there with his Tempest ult, but he unfortunately is chopped away as well. And I think Ushbishka went down for the likes of Dark Entities. That being said, I don't actually know if Ushbishka was on a Tempest ult right there. I think he just got naturally knocked without his Tempest ult. So a little bit of a mishap there potentially from Ushbishka, but I don't think he popped his Tempest ult. So maybe we will see Ushbishka use his ultimate very, very soon.
Yeah, could be. Could be. Also, love seeing that we're getting some of the teams down towards the bottom of the leaderboard in and active early on. LFS been very, very passive in their approach to the game so far, but this time around, the first ones making a run for the Mandelbrick. While not successful, still lovely seeing them trying to change up their playstyle a bit. Also, look at this total score so far. I mean, the 2 teams currently set with a brick each are the ones with the fewest points. I feel like that's not something you see very often, if ever at all.
Yeah, pretty rare to see that indeed. And that's just based on the fact that both of those teams, when they put the Mandelbrick in the decoding station, it wasn't uncontested. They didn't have to fight for it. They didn't have to get any kills, but here it is indeed. Ushbishka now going to be popping that Tempest ult. He's going to try to see what some of the other teams are going to throw at him here before he jumps onto the Mandelbrick itself. Unfortunately, the smoke was a little bit poor, but it ended up not mattering as Dark Entities have picked up the Mandelbrick.
Will they be able to bring it home, though, is the big question. Can they finish it here in Game 5? We finished it in Game 5 yesterday as Alliance was able to net themselves their second brick. Will it be the same case with Dark Entities here? We will have to wait and see. Also curious as to where they're going to try and set it up. They went for the outdoor location just on the on the north side of the centrifuge in that previous game. And I don't know, do you have a favorite decoding station on Space City in this current patch?
Yeah, I would actually say the one all the way over towards the backpack extract. I feel like we've gotten some very, very cool fights around that one. It kind of allows Just some new area to kind of be seen. We've seen Sands a couple of times, but that one just kind of feels like if you get the Mandelbrick over there, you kind of just win because the rotation back over there is super, super difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I like the one over towards Backpack probably the most. That being said, I would like to see Dormitory just a little bit more.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't remember the last time I myself have seen that one go down.
I had a few of them. I think 2 in the last like let's call it warm-up tournament we had coming in to the Rise Series qualifiers. That was really, really fun. Also outside, also hard to defend, but I feel like it plays better than the one that we have in the back alley here between Centrifuge and Boyancy Lab. So we'll see what they're up to go for. Dark Entity still sat here, a little hesitant in where they want to go with the Mandelbrick in their position.
Yeah, pretty similar actually to what we saw last game on Mandelbrick Addiction. They were in the same exact spot. They picked up the Mandelbrick, and then they kind of just sat here in between Test Range and Black Chamber. Pretty much the closest decoding station to them that they would have access to would be Black Chamber, kind of running into that building. But some of our teams kind of post up there early on. And take a look at this. An absolute dash from Dark Entities potentially towards Employee Passage number 2. And that Sands decoding station that we were just talking about.
Oh, now making the run for it. Let's see if they commit to the cross on over. This Follow Rate will be the one trying to make the cross over the pipes, over the Employer Passage. And here we are. Make sure to smoke it off because there's a lot of open lines for sight. With the Stinger smoke should be safe across. Indeed they are.
This is great. I mentioned it. This is one of those decoding stations where sometimes it feels like if you put it down, you kind of just get it because it can be so hard for some of our teams to make our way over here. That being said, a couple of our teams on early approach here, Mandelbrick Addiction being one of them. So when you might have a little bit of a head-to-head amongst our two teams towards the top with a Mandelbrick of their own each, but Fnatic are trying to make something happen too. They're trying to cross this Employee Passage to kind of join the mix before they get caught kind of fighting one of the teams that also want to rotate over.
Yeah, you can see LFS running in right behind Fnatic, and they will be aware there's a team kind of tucking their tail. So they got to make a run quickly over on the other side. So Spichka would be the one to see them the earliest from his position. But Mandelbrick Addiction now up here as well. Keep in mind, this is the same exact position that we saw Alliance win from yesterday as FLOORPOV and Gotaga. They're now fighting. They're on the very far southern side of the map, miles away from the Mandelbrick. What do we do here? Obsess. He gone forward. Makes the run up and over. Gets taken down. Did have the Tempest ult available. So we'll see if he can get back safely. We'll be able to do exactly that. Did get the knock on one, but will get forced down. Oh, that nade is going to be close, and it's going to be on point with it too. Yosei gets taken down.
Yep, some trades kind of going back and forth here. FPOV going to be winning out that exchange there. Unfortunately, Team Gotaga are going to be losing Vlad, and he was going to be actually out in the open there. But again, we have to turn our focus over towards this decoding station because Dark Entities is making a lot of progress towards capturing this Mandelbrick.
They are indeed.
Wait, they haven't actually.
But they haven't put it down yet.
Oh,
oh wait, no, that's a visual.
We got tricked.
I was like, wait a minute, I could have sworn I saw them put it down. But indeed they did. Indeed they did. Nice defensive position there. Skitty does get taken down. But of course, again, Tempest was on call. So as soon as you get knocked, zip, you get sent back towards your teammates. And we will be seeing a lot of that in this game. Under 2 minutes left remaining for the initial Mandelbrick to be taken over from someone else.
Yeah, NBA tried to make something happen there with their Tempest ult, so that's going to be down for them. We'll have to see if LFS can kind of do something similar. Remember, every single one of our teams here have access to a Tempest, so we would expect this one to get a little bit crazy. That being said, not a lot of time for some of these teams to kind of make something happen here. Only 1 minute and 30 seconds now, Toby.
That's true. That's true. Dark Entity sat very defensive in position here. A lot of ults being deployed moving forward. Because no one is opting to go for the early aggressive move, it means that all these teams that are kind of waiting outside the decoding station itself are going to be forced to fight one another as well. As we do see Dark Entities take one loss. It's flourished down early on. But still, 2 guys here defending. We've yet today to see a single steal of a Mandelbrick. Every time one team has put it in, they have gone all the way to 0 and gotten it without any contest. And now, 45 seconds left on the timer here. There could be another case because, again, look at this Fnatic now fighting Elephants. It's the teams that are sat outside waiting to push in that are fighting one another, and it's working out perfectly for Dark Entities.
Yeah, they're kind of getting a big assist here, right? Fnatic fending off one of those teams that was closest to the Mandelbrick indeed, and that's going to be a full wipe onto Team LFS. But unfortunately for the likes of Dark Entities, they have not gotten through the thick of it yet, as Mandelbrick Addiction are very, very close behind, as are Fnatic. And unfortunately, Dark Entities have actually been chopped down to just 2 members remaining, but they only got to fend off for just 20 more seconds. Uzbishka finds one of the knocks onto
15.
Fnatic, but he goes down shortly after. And now Forward is going to be the last remaining member standing alive for Dark Entities. Can he stay alive for 10 seconds? Can he defend it for 5 more seconds?
Goes for the steal. It wasn't taken away. He's able to get it in time, I believe. Oh, we got the wrong screen on. I can't tell whether they got it, but they do. Dark Entities, unless if the UI is baiting me, get eliminated, but not before they get themselves the double Mandelbrick.
An incredible individual effort there from Foray. He stayed alive. He jumped onto the member, stealing it away. And Dark Entities are ending things here in game number 5. At the top of the leaderboard, they are with 2 Mandelbricks secured.
Back-to-back Mandelbrick rounds for Dark Entities secures them the win on round 5. I am so perplexed by the team's fear of losing out compared to the potential reward of getting to fight another day. I mean, Gotaga, I guess they just kind of said, you know what, I mean, if it's the same team that wins it, then at least we get 3rd, because they are so far ahead on squad points. If it's another team, then we get to fight another day. I'm very baffled by how this one turned out once again.
And what are we? 3 for 3 on the day, actually, with Mandelbricks going uncontested, unstolen. That 4-minute timer went the distance in all 3 of the captures here today. Crazy stuff. I mean, there's pretty much nothing to kind of be played for here. I will go ahead and mention. I mean, NBA, a team that's still alive, they're guaranteed 2nd place because they're the only team with a single Mandelbrick right here. Team Gotaga, they are 11 points ahead of FPOV. I mean, FPOV could maybe find the last remaining 6 kills here and find a bunch of loot and extract, but that would be crazy to kind of overtake there. I guess FPOV could technically overtake Fnatic as well with just 19 points there for them. But some work to be done potentially for the likes of FPOV, but I feel like Team NBA and Team Gotaga feel pretty locked in.
I am perplexed by the fact that Dark Entities got that one 2nd time around as well. I mean, NBA alive with all 3 up here as well. I know that they had 1 down early on, and therefore it was a risky commit to the decoding. But I mean, again, maybe it's they're weighing in, okay, what's worth more, not going for it and then getting 2nd place guaranteed? Should it be Dark Entities that's on it? Or going for it, potentially losing, and then maybe getting 3rd or 4th if we move on to, to the next games coming up.
NBA are trying to get into the mix here. Skydie jumps onto the likes of FPOV, takes out Blake. Obsessed on the backside of that does take out Skydie, but that was the Tempest ult right there. And on the other side of things, Vlad and Team Gotaga are trying to make something happen as a little bit of a 3rd party, and they do find value in taking out Uvelier. But amongst all of the chaos, NBA and FPOV are both left as a duo, with Team Gotaga still standing strong as a full 3-man roster.
Yeah. Trying to see what more they can get. I mean, I was wondering, what is the record for 1 day worth of squad points? 25 to me. It's gonna be up, maybe not record breaking by any means, because you could potentially go 7 rounds, but still, it's a pretty good day overall.
Definitely not the highest we have seen so far, I would have to say, right? When you go to game 7, it just kind of extends that so much. But Nox trying to extend his individual kill lead here, as now we're just going to be having Team Gotaga versus NBA. Here's going to be a 2v2. Nox tries to make some of the pre-fires happen right there. He does an incredible amount of damage, and it is enough for Maxa to just go ahead and peek over the sight lines and finish off the legs of Buldo and Skydie right there. They were both left on a sliver of HP, and Maxa kind of went ahead and finished the job there. Nox, those are going to be 2 big assists for him. Basically almost 2 kills there. He almost was able to go ahead and pick up. But yeah, there it is. Team Gotaga Unfortunately for these guys, we mentioned it, it would feel so bad for them if they ended today in third place without a mana break. Because again, it has seemed like they have been the best team. And I won't even mention just here today, but even in week number 1, when we saw them play 2 times, they are consistently kind of in the mix. They are consistently finding so many kills. They are winning these fights. And it's really hard for us to not consider them one of the best teams in this competition. But when you look at the leaderboard, man, the point of this whole format is to secure mana bricks. And they did not do that here today, which is why we're going to be seeing them in third place. But for NBA, able to pick up 1 mana brick earlier on in the day. And Dark Entities back to back here on Space City.
That is absolutely crazy. Of course, I mean, the second time around, they did have to fight for it. It was a very well-defended position there in the end of it. But as you were saying, too, that northeast decoding station is so incredibly hard to contest, because one thing is fighting when you're there. Another thing is getting there. You're traversing so much open terrain, including the pipe passage that we're seeing here, where you're getting shot at from other teams that are also making a run towards it. So unless if somehow all teams just agreed, let's not shoot each other and only try and take out the team on the station itself, which, I mean, obviously they won't, then a good margin of the teams will have either been fully eliminated or down to low health, broken vests, all that, before they even get a chance to fight for the decoding station itself. So really worked out perfectly for Dark Entities.
Yeah, very bold of them to just run for that decoding station as well, because you're mentioning it. The rotates that some of the teams have to make after it is placed down, super, super hard. But the initial rotate is actually often the hardest one. We see a lot of teams kind of fail that rotate upon initial approach of that decoding station. But Team Gotaga, they're going to go ahead and probably send one of their members out via the backpack extract to go ahead and just pad some of the stats here, pad some of the total assets that they have been able to pick up on the day. We'll give them the last remaining 90 seconds here on Space City to go ahead and just secure just a little bit more loot. But we know how the leaderboard kind of looks. You can see it on the left side of your screen here. They've got 29 points. They are well above Fnatic, who will go down in 4th place today. So 3rd place secured for Team Gotaga. But man, what an incredible day. Again, flew by, and I can't believe in back-to-back days here in week number 2, we've actually ended in game number 5.
It just comes out of nowhere. So similar to yesterday, how, I mean, the day was finally starting to spice up a bit, you know, like we were finally starting to see some more aggression. The likes of LFS in this, in the start of this one, getting active in it as well. And then, bish, bash, bosh, double. Mandelbrick's picked up, game over. It was like, wait, what? Guys, we're finally warmed up. We're ready for that game 6, but it won't happen. We're finishing it here today, and you can see the faces of Gotaga. Yes, they get a lot of squad points, but there is got to be a sliver of frustration. Not seeing the same smiles on Nox that I saw earlier in the day. That 3rd place, they would have wanted to get more out of.
Still some potential to be found here for Nox, who is still on the map here with 30 seconds left remaining. Trying to make something happen. Again, this is all a formality at this point for the man himself, who has done, once again, an incredible effort on the day. I hope we get an opportunity to go ahead and look at those power rankings for that race for one of our players who's going to end the competition with the most amount of kills, just to kind of get a metric to see how many kills he was actually able to pick up here today. But I actually want to go ahead and take a look over here towards the leaderboard. I mean, Dark Entities, on the back foot of them ending the competition early in 1st place. Of course, we know it. If you're able to pick up 2 mana bricks, you'll net yourself 10 points. So prior to today, they actually only had 7 points. They were down in like 8th, 9th place on the overall group stage standings. And they're going to fly up the leaderboard after that effort today.
Definitely. Definitely a huge day for Spishka and the gang. And despite them winning, they're not... Where's the joy? Where's the cheer? Where's the excitement? They all sat very... Maybe they too are a little perplexed by how it all went down today and wondering, wait, we actually got the double? Indeed they did. There they are, Dark Entities, your double Mandelbrick winners.
3 kill points and a lot of damage to actually go ahead and defend this one here. This time around, 1,300 required for them to go ahead and pick this one up. And the reason why that's important, I mean, our Brakkesh mana brick, by the way, our team had defended that with just 1 kill and like 200 damage dealt. Like nobody really contested it, even made their way over there. So obviously it's shown in the stats here that Dark Entities, they had to go ahead and fend that one off. Multiple teams kind of sending in some Tempest and sending their bodies, sending it into the smokes. But the defense came in, and we're going to take a look at the scoreboard and how it all broke down on Space City. Obviously, Dark Entities with that mana brick in tow, they're going to be finding themselves in that first place spot. 3 kills, 0 assets actually extracted, but who cares about assets, man, if you're picking up the mana breaks?
Exactly. Who needs that? Don't need to extract them for follow rate. The 2 kills that he got in this game were the winning ones as well. Able to stay alive, able to defend the station for just the last couple of seconds, despite there being opponents literally stood on it as the timer ran out. He did everything he could to defend it last moment. He comes out victorious there. And Jam again for Fnatic. Even if this wasn't the best day for Fnatic either, I think Jam is really proving to be a great fit for the team.
Yep, without a doubt, it's cool to kind of see them find it. I feel like NBA Skitey as well had some great performances today, obviously in the last game, but just over the course of all the 5 that we paid, we're seeing it right here. Full Ray actually picking up a majority of that damage that was found for the likes of Dark Entity. I think there were upwards of like 1,300, and he picked up 850 of it, so a large portion of that going his way. But see a couple of members of FPV up there as well, around and about 600 damage of their own. But who would be able to find kills without the great assists from the likes of NBA Buldo and Yuvelier? Kind of could imagine helping out Skitey find some of the kills that we mentioned, and Bane as well helping out.
Great work overall there. Get the assists, but get surpassed in the Mandelbrick hunt in the end of it. What a, again, I mean, such an interesting way for everything to go down here in the end of the day. Maxa out with the massive rewards in terms, I mean, just, I guess Gotaga got everything going for them today except for Mandelbricks. They got the loot, they got the kills, they got the assists, they got all, but the Mandelbricks just never went their way.
Yep, again, it's really hard for us to go ahead and count these guys out. I mean, they did so good in week number 1, both of the times that they played it, of at least picking up a single mana break, even, you know, winning out one of those days. But, you know, they tried their best today, failed in the mana break category, but succeeded in every other one. The Jam is going to be your Game 5 MVP there on the back foot of him, picking up 4 total kills, 570 damage, and, of course, the assets are going to be pretty low.
Oh yeah, but also, I mean, even if they don't come out victorious in the round overall, Fnatic, Jam was actually the one that tried to make the run for the Mandelbrick there in the end of it, trying to come out and see if he could deny the Dark Entities the win in the round, but unfortunately it wasn't quite to be. Follow rate able to take him down, and thus we get the win in for Dark Entities. But what a finish to what, again, started out as a pretty quiet day, but then all of a sudden, as soon as you go over to Space City, man, it just pops off.
Yeah, absolutely, man. An incredible 5 games that we were able to see here. But now that we've actually wrapped up the competition, we have not forgotten about you folks at home. We have one more giveaway here today, and I'm very, very excited to go ahead and announce this one. It's your chance to win some Delta Force tickets. This is your chance to win 3,000 Delta ticket game keys. If you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook, simply type !giveaway in the chat to enter. If you are watching on X, just simply repost the live stream and that will enter you into contention. We'll announce the winners in the chat on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. And then if you're watching on X, the winner will be announced in the comments below the live stream. Good luck to everybody at home.
Always great to be able to get yourself some rewards for watching, as if the show itself wasn't enough reward, because I feel like we've been blessed with some absolute high tier Delta Force from start to finish throughout the day. So also, I'm loving that we're not just, especially today, seeing the same operators used over and over and over again. But maybe somebody can talk to us a bit more about that is Uspishka from Dark Entities, off of a win there. Congratulations, Uspishka, for what was a maybe quiet start to the day, but then you went back-to-back Mandelbrick rounds. How does it feel to come out victorious today?
I mean, I'm very proud of my boys. We did how we planned, and we played our game. That's it.
Was there any points in the day where you thought, I mean, yeah, we might be able to go out and bring it back-to-back? It seemed like the lobby was a bit more passive. Is that maybe something you tried to take advantage of when you went for the Mandelbricks early on in the rounds?
I think, like, when we played the first day and second day, we played so passive, we were scared to do any moves. But then we discussed, like, why we're scared of. Like, we are actually a good team. Each one of us are good individually, so we just took the risk and double brick.
Yeah, it was a great job, Uzbekistan. I feel like one of the biggest risks of the day for you guys was actually making your way over towards that sand area, the coding station in game number 5. Usually that rotate is very, very risky. Did you guys kind of pick up on something? Did you guys find the information needed to make that rotate? Or did you guys just kind of like decide to send it?
I mean, when I took the Mandel, Flourish gave the info that one team crossed the pipes and they went below us. So basically it was free. And we knew that basically from shots that one squad was on bridge. So basically that's it. We knew that there was nobody.
Makes perfect sense. I want to hear, lastly from you, Brakkesh, obviously we're still in somewhat of the early days of the Rise series, but how do you feel like it has evolved so far? We heard from Alliance and their winning interview yesterday. Very similar to what you're saying. They're saying we were playing, maybe not scared, but a bit passive in the end, but then realizing, guys, we're here, we're capable, we can do this. Start playing more aggressive. Is this something you're seeing across the board, other teams doing as well? Or how do you feel like it's been evolving so far in the league?
I think after this game, maybe teams will understand that they should not be scared of playing the game. And I hope to see like more aggressive play and all this chaos that we saw on first day of the tournament.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Any last questions from you, Vivid?
Yeah, Uzbekistan, listen, obviously, you guys are going head-to-head now. You've played a couple of times here in the Rise series. Is there any specific team that you feel like when you guys go up against, whether it be like a 3v3 or a team is holding down the Mandelbrick, is there any other team that you feel like just plays a notch above that you feel like you can kind of tell that it's them because they're just playing so much better than some of the other teams? Or do you feel like there's just like no difference between who you're fighting?
I mean, we basically know from the operator pick what is the team that is like.
Okay.
Against us, so yeah, it's like we have played so many scrims and we have played so many games that we basically know who is who.
Right. Lastly, any shout outs that you want to do to the fans viewers? I saw a lot of people in the chat cheering Dark Entities on, especially when you come out victorious. A lot of people saying GG's, well deserved, hard fought there in the end of it. Any shout outs you want to do to the viewers out there supporting you on?
I mean, thank you guys, everyone who is supporting us and cheering up for us, and I hope we can play like this in the future games.
Well, I hope that you can as well, because it was looking really, really good over in space. Congratulations again, Uzbekistan and Dark Entities for coming out victorious there in the match. We're looking forward to seeing a lot more from you in the tournament to come.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Perfect. Great. I love these post-match interviews and getting a chance to hear from them as well. A few words, but very nice words, very, straightforward words. And I feel like that's the way they were playing as well. They didn't go overzealous. They didn't try to be overly flashy, but what they did mattered, and it mattered a lot because look at this, out there in first place.
Yep, a great day for Team Dark Entities. A great day as well for Mandelbrick Addiction. Second place, they would have loved to pick up that first place spot, but being in second place, you get 6 points for placing there, and then 1 more for the Mandelbrick, so 7 total points for them. Again, a little bit of a slip up there from Team Gotaga. They've been placing pretty consistently in the first and second place spot, but third is not going to be too bad. It's not going to set them too far behind, as we do know they kind of came into today as our team in first place on those overall group stage leaderboards. Fnatic as well, we kind of called for them. Listen, we got to make something happen here today. They did not end up, towards 5 or 6. So number 4 is not going to be too bad. It's going to be helping them out as well.
I think, kudos to Fnatic for kind of turning what was a pretty forgetful day into something positive. This is just, can we call it the match 5 top players, just call it the Nox board? Because I feel like it's just him, or at least this case, Gotaga up there across the board for them. What a guy. What a guy in Nox. He was already leading the top kill board, and now he's just going to add to it 11 eliminations on the day, Vivid. This guy is an absolute beast.
Yep, this is why I've kind of coined him as the highlight reel, man. He just constantly finds himself in the mix, constantly finds himself hitting those shots, and it is backed up with the stats that he is able to go ahead and employ, no matter it's, any game-specific stats or any of these sessions that we do have here today. But unfortunately for us, Team Gotaga are actually going to be done for the weekend. So if you do want to see more of Team Nox, or not Team Nox, Nox himself and Team Gotaga, you're going to have to wait all the way until next week. That's when they are going to be kind of returning to the stage. Let's go ahead and take a look at those player rankings. I mentioned it. I wanted to see this, and lo and behold, Nox is still towards the top there. And oh my gosh, his teammate is actually in second place right behind him. I mean, Team Gotaga, man, how much firepower these guys have.
That is absolutely insane. Another shout out though, Jam, again, the latest addition to Fnatic, comes in as kind of the third player, joining up with the other two. He sat there in third place now. He had a great day yesterday individually. So far here today as well, really stepping up mechanically. So good on him for waving the Fnatic banner up there in the top 3. As we take a look at the list going further down, and now over to the top damage dealers. So far, Ushbishka surpassing all the kill guys up front with 7,300 and then some.
Congratulations to Ushbishka. We just got an opportunity to talk to this guy. I wish we would have known this prior. We'd been like, listen, how are you finding all of this damage, man? I mean, even more than Nox, so kind of crazy right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at who's been kind of grabbing all of the loot for their team. It's going to be Maxa, who's been trusted with all of that loot to go ahead and keep it safe in that 3x3 safe box, I would imagine. Then obviously, if you go ahead and extract as well, it's going to go ahead and boost those numbers. But we actually have what feels like so many people right there. We're kind of tied around 16 million, and we had the 2 members of Nox and Maxa kind of all the way up there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the breakdown of how everything is going to be continuing on. Toby, tomorrow, we've got groups B and C going at it in match number 6.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be good times moving forward. Looking forward to that day for sure. Get to see Alliance again. Could they maybe make it 2 wins in 1 weekend? We haven't seen it yet. Would be absolutely huge. As we get a look at the overall leaderboard here now. Look at this. Gotaga, well, they might be in first place, but Dark Entities just up straight up into second off of the 10 points they garnered here today.
Yeah, great effort from Team Gotaga. I mean, again, that third place was enough to kind of keep them up there in that number 1 spot. I do want to remind everybody at home, we have kind of entered another stage where we have seen some of these teams now play 3 times and some only play 2, which can kind of skew this leaderboard sometimes. I'm looking towards like Team Genius and Team Alliance and Team AGARTHA, who are still in the top 6, but they've only played a couple of times so far. I'll be excited to kind of watch them go head-to-head tomorrow and see if they can kind of overtake some of these teams at the top. But they've got a lot of work to do because, like you mentioned, Team Gotaga all the way up there on 18 points, Dark Entities on 17, and MBA, a great weekend from them. 15 total points now.
Definitely good stuff coming through. Looking forward to see Group C play tomorrow. I have yet to cast Group C at all, as a matter of fact, so I get the pleasure of watching the guys take to the field. Here you can see the full schedule of what's going to happen. We're closing in on the halfway point here in the group stage. As a matter of fact, after tomorrow, we will have hit the halfway point of groups as we then venture into Group P and 4, and then week 5, of course, the playoffs, the survival match 1 and 2, and then the finals on August 9. Going to be an absolutely incredible time. Also, just, I mean, briefly, to go back to what Ushbishka was saying, he thinks after what they saw today, and I feel like yesterday's games can be kind of added to it, after teams go back and rewatch those games and go, oh my god, no one was daring to do anything. I feel like maybe not tomorrow, but next week for sure, Vivid, teams are going to be coming back on all thrusters.
I love it too, because every interview that we've had, I mean, we only had 2 interviews, but every single one has just mentioned the fact we've played too passive, man. We've just needed to just full send it. We needed to go for the win condition, and he kind of called it out. Ushbishka himself was like, listen, other teams have to start doing this, man, because some of these bricks that are going away for free, I mean, we saw it happen 3 times today. They need to start getting contested. But that being said, Friday and Saturday are already done. It's absolutely flown by. I cannot wait to jump into the action tomorrow, because so far it has been absolutely outstanding.
Absolute pleasure to be on the show here this weekend. It's of course not done by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, yes, okay, EMEA for today is done, but Americas is waiting right around the corner tonight. They're taking on to the battlefield there to hopefully give us even more great games coming your way. And the last couple of days of Americas has been equally exciting. So any big expectations for Americas tonight on your end?
No, listen, hopefully these guys have had an opportunity to watch EMEA, and they're like, listen, we need to play more aggressive as well.
Exactly. This would be absolutely amazing. But that is going to do it for the show here for us today. So thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in to the Rise series here for EMEA. We've got 1 more day left of week 2 tomorrow, so make sure to tune in. Same place, same time. We'll see you for more Delta Force action tomorrow. Until then, take care.
two members. Now the odds are in their favor, 2v1.
Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little. So hang on a second, NL. Look at that! It's an absolute sweat.
And LG's gotta know that they're here.